Should we recap last time? Anybody want to recap?
Shit happened. Let's go.
Whoa.
I just finished a re-listen about an hour ago, so I'm
I
all
heard it.
caught up. So we started actually just after our rest. We had just rested, so it feels like a million years ago. And then we went into changed our plan a little bit. Went into the crypt room. There was a lot of talk about what we were going to do with the crypt and how we were going to approach it. Eventually, we ended up smashing the statues. The statues came to life as phase beast, as we recall. We got the loot. Then we decided to walk. The ladybugs told us there was going to be a problem outside. We talked about it. We talked about hypnotizing Soup. Instead, we just Zuzu just went for it. There was a Miro, is that his name? Captain Miro was the captain who was there, and he was so happy to have captured us. It was like a gift in his lap that he captured the little songbird. And but then the prisoner Awa gave us an opening. We were gonna run away, and then the Awa said something. Zuzu, you may remember. It was about a particular organization.
Gulag gang, right?
Gulag gang.
Yeah, it was.
Gulag gang. Goulash gang.
And Zuzu ran back in. And we got another battle, and then puked about it. And then Dante was sad, and Cora comforted him. And then we walked on. We're walking away. We were fading out as this was we were like walking away from this massacre. And a crow flew away and told on us. So our position is known.
Right. That's right. Letting that crow go is a big deal.
We tried.
Yeah, not for lack of trying to kill it, but we gave it our best shot. It's hard to shoot a crow.
That's true, especially when it's flying really far away. Far, far, far away like a bird. And yeah, you have a new computer. You mentioned Awa? Sorry, I was fucking with my settings, so I wasn't listening well.
I did mention Awa. He is following us now.
We're the fucking Brady.
All we know about him is that he owes. I know. All we know is his name's Awa, and he thanks us for saving him.
Distant descendant of Benson, for sure.
Yeah, he's handsome. He's got brown hair, and he's handsome.
Mm-hmm.
Handsome boy.
It's almost like if an AI were told to generate a handsome Middle Eastern-looking face, and that's what came out.
It does seem like that now that you mention it.
Yeah, you're generically handsome. That works. You're nondescript.
Yes. Okay, so great. Yeah, well, that leaves us. You were setting off into the desert, I believe, midday, or was it evening? I cannot remember.
It was evening. It was the night.
Yeah,
sky.
it was evening. It's night.
So I guess you're not setting off in the desert yet, but you had finished off. Or I guess we did kind of leave you setting off into the desert, didn't we?
We were walking away from that crypt area in the night.
And our boat was gone.
All right. Do you guys want to write goals first, or do you want to jump in first to a couple scenes before you think about your goals? It's been a while.
I mean, I've got goals, but we can keep going if we need to.
Okay.
Pre-wrote mine because it's just excited. No work today.
Right. Yeah, I'm cool with either. I have some goals.
Yeah,
Let's do some scenes.
Yeah, let's do a
Do
couple
some scenes, and then we can hit on goals here.
Yeah, we kind of left off at the end of a arc, sort of. I'm not really sure. As the GM, I'm not sure where you guys are going next or what you're doing next. So,
Trying to hit Arc City is what we were originally
Arc
trying
City.
to get to. That cool boat in the sand.
all right. So we zoom in under a starry desert sky, in the scrubby, brushy sand dunes and the rocky cliffs along the river here. And I think we left you off heading down towards the Lyran River. Awa following you, ready to repay his life debt. He just, fell right in line. Yeah. And so we pick up as you, I think, I don't know, probably pick your way down a little goat path, in the cliffs down to the riverside.
Cedric might remind everyone that if he doesn't rest soon, he can't be of much use from an arcane perspective.
Awa's like, yes, and we should not be traveling in the desert at night. It's very dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous during the day as well, but very much so at night.
Yes, sometimes, Awa, I fear we are the danger.
He kind of mutters under his breath, like, you don't even know the half of it.
Well, why don't you fill us in on some of the dangers we're looking at out there in the desert?
He kind of looks at you like, for real?
Listen, I ain't native to these parts.
Where are you from?
None of your business.
Okay, I won't press it. Well, let's see. Scorpions? The size of, well, you, for one.
Alright. I mean, that's a good start. Are there also snakes the size of me?
Not in the desert, but in the jungles.
It's a good thing we ain't heading towards any jungles.
Not yet.
Alright, so scorpions. And that's just about it, other than obvious issues such as heat and cold and exposure to the elements.
I didn't mention the sinkholes, or the raiders, or the cannibals, or the winged apes.
Yeah, see, now that's more like it.
Oh, good gracious.
Man.
All in this desert? Here?
All in Tridia. He kind of motions broadly to the area around him, to the land around you.
How far are we now from camp, or from where we killed those people?
Not far. I feel like you could still look back and probably see the cat statue. No one's coming right now anyway. That crow's gonna take the rest of the night to make it back to Sarkhan, for sure.
I would like to get a couple of miles away from the scene of the crime and regroup for tomorrow, right? Much to think about.
Agreed. We should also consider that Ark City may no longer be safe for us. That's something we can discuss later, though.
What do you mean? Why would Ark City not be safe for us?
I personally don't exactly know how interconnected all these cities are in Tridia, but surely that crow's gonna alert them to exactly where we are and where we could be going next. If we want to go somewhere safer, we might need to go off the map. Ark City's pretty big, isn't it?
It's
Go ahead.
it's interesting. I wouldn't say it's the biggest town, but it can make do. You can find shelter, you can find happiness there. Trade, treasures, goods.
I'm more concerned about whether they have extradition orders for loose fugitives.
Well, I do know a bit about governance in that area, and it's under the control of a local warlord, if you will. I'd have to check my notes for the exact name of the ruler, but they certainly aren't under the express control of Sarkhan. If we were going to be somewhere, I don't think they would be the governments would be actively interconnected.
Yeah. It's a weird place to call home.
Alright, well, it don't sound too bad then, but we should definitely still keep our heads down once we get there. I imagine they put a bounty on our heads back from Sarkhan, and if this place is ruled by a warlord. Well, money's money, you know?
I think Cora's probably been just like very withdrawn, more so like than you've seen her in the past, where she's kind of like trying to tend to whomever she can, as is her nature. And talking about like getting away or maybe not being able to go to the city, like at that, she kind of like looks like pays attention kind of for the first time and is like drawn out of her thought, and she's just like, we've got to find a way to get somewhere civilized, somewhere. I can't. We got it. These boys, and she's like gestures to Rosco and Dieter. She's like, this has been not, this ain't been good for them, and we need to find a place. They need to go. This isn't a job for a child.
I agree. I think that we can find them safety in Ark City, and then we can figure out what we're doing from there.
I mean, I'll do whatever I can to continue to help them, and I don't intend to just walk away, but they didn't ask for this, and we don't know what we're getting into. We don't even know what each other are doing. I just feel so lost. I thought I knew what was going on, and now I thought I was doing the right thing, and right now I just don't even know what that is. And I'm watching them change. I'm watching it. They're seeing all this, and it's not good for their soul.
Oh, I just let's out aloud like, ha!
The fuck was that?
What was that noise?
What was that noise? Was that a laugh or was that a choke?
Yeah, he's like fighting back a smile.
What's so funny, Hour?
Nothing, just that whole soul business.
Who the
Oh, you
hell
don't
are
believe?
you?
Me?
Yes, you. Why did you deserve to live over Miro? Why did we kill him to save your ass?
I'm not responsible for what you did. I'm appreciative, but you made the choice. Your friend, Suzu, here, made the choice. One I intend to know.
This is another thing that's gonna be laid on me. Okay. Well, I've had enough of this, acting like I'm some insane bad guy making horrible decisions. I killed somebody who was gonna enslave us. I've been enslaved twice before. And I will promise you all here, right now, that in the face of slavery or death, I will take death. And so if you think that it was my fault that I turned back, he would have hunted us down. We were just wandering away. He had a horse. Like, we would not have gotten away from that conflict. And so, and to believe that it's just now that we are all fugitives? Are you all so naive? We have all escaped a slavery to the death. They will do all that they can to bring us back and make us an example for all the other slaves. So we need to start thinking a little more realistically. We need to start understanding our positions a little bit better, I think.
I think you're coming from an awfully bold position there, Zuzu.
Really, what is so outlandish about what I have said?
It's so outlandish that you're under the impression that what you did wrong was killing the man. That's just not true. I wanted him dead as well. The issue is that we made a decision to leave, and then you turn back on that decision, and that is the issue.
Well, you could have decided to
Both
leave right
lines.
then.
We could have.
Both
Do
I
not
wanted
act
to.
like
lines
I
to your
dragged you
actions.
by the hand
Hold on. Let's have one person at a
into-
time, please.
this conflict, okay? I have my own history. I have my own thoughts. I simply escaped with you all. I hope that we all become allies because I do not see myself as somebody horrible. I do not want to torture and murder or randomly kill people, but I will kill to maintain my freedom.
Soup.
And that is undeniable.
Soup perks up when you start saying the killing bit and chimes in.
I can certainly understand your position not wanting to be sold into slavery, but it does seem from time to time we make a decision, and then you, well, do what you were going to do anyway. And if that's what you want, you are correct. You do have your own thoughts. You are a free man. You can do what you'd like. But I do think there's something special here. This group, the way we work together, all of us bring something to the table.
I agree completely.
I think if we do stick together and work as a team, and once we come up with a plan, we stick by it, not for the sake of thinking it's a great idea. There's been points when we've done things that were against my better judgment. But I did what the team wanted to do.
Lone wolf shit stays behind. I agree with Cedric on this. We may not necessarily even need to like each other, but as long as we stick together, we're stronger for it.
Awa throws his arm around Aretti's shoulder and he's like, yeah, we're a team.
Get your fucking arm off me.
Oh, sorry.
Listen.
Pardon.
Listen, I have known Miro for years. He has chased me for years. And there was a better way of getting out of that situation instead of murdering him in cold blood. Zuzu, you did not turn around because of him trying to take us captive. We could have solved that problem. He begged for mercy. You turned around because this jackass over here said something that triggered you. As he points to Uwu or Awa.
Ooh.
Yeah, sorry.
Love that shade.
Wow.
Oh no.
To know what was going through my mind in that moment, you must be much more omniscient than me. But the threat of slavery was enraging, and I was the last one to turn to leave. And I did hear Awa here speak about the Gulag Gang, which is the reason why I am here with you today. So you might understand why I might be angry at hearing this former Gulag gangster call out. And I have many debts to settle. And I hope that I will settle all of my debts with you. And all of you, because I understand that I may be rash, but at times I would hope you all to be a little more rash. I see that you all are talented and well-intentioned individuals, and I believe in your capacity. I understand planning, but it seems like there have been a lot of circumstances that have introduced themselves into the situations that we have been in. And, you know, sometimes a good plan can fall through right at the beginning. And if you just stick to the plan, there is no further going. You just lose. So I understand your all's frustration, and I will try to rein it in, but these last few days have been a nightmare, and I myself am just coming to terms with it. And maybe I've been lashing out at the world a bit for putting me in such a situation.
You know, that's a
But-
lot of good talking, but you're gonna need to put your actions behind your words as well.
Already, I do not want to speak with you at this moment.
That's
I-
fine.
this
Listen,
has
we're
very
just
little to do with you. I just killed a man that you didn't know. This situation has much more to do with Dante, and I understand that he believes that we could have gotten away, but he's been running from this shadow for 3 years, and I don't expect thanks for getting rid of it, but I am a bit confused.
Well, you know, we all need to get by, and sometimes we do things that maybe we didn't think about at all, and we just do them because an impulse, it comes over you, and you just act, and you know that's something that I can understand, and I've been given many great gifts by the Queen Mother, and I'm willing to use those gifts for y'all, but I want to use them when they're justified. I want to use them when I need to use them, and Dante, it was his shadow, and you did take care of it, but he didn't ask you to do that, and you took that away from him, that choice to how he wanted to handle it. And I think that if we're going to work together, it means that we have to respect each other's choices. And I don't know if he feels that way, but it seemed to me like Dante wasn't ready for that to happen, and you made it happen for him.
I mean, I agree, but I wasn't gonna be chased by this man for 3 years myself.
I didn't want to be chased. I mean, I got to tell you the truth. There were some things that were said that made me want to make sure that this situation went away as well, but it doesn't change the way it felt. I mean, I've done killing, but this wasn't just killing. This felt like murder.
Awal kind of
I
like clears his throat. He's like, didn't each one of you take a turn?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Did you just sign up to sit in the background and make comments? Like, this isn't really involving you. We saved your life, so if you could just maybe keep it down. Yes, I think people have souls. Yes, we murdered him for you, and we all regret it. So could we just stop it?
He throws his hands
It
up,
wasn't.
and he's just like, seems like you should all be happy. None of you liked him.
I will say, as far as I'm aware, that killing was distasteful to all of us. However, I do believe it was necessary.
I agree. That left a sour taste in my own mouth. It's not like I like killing in cold blood, but
Soup.
it makes me feel a little warmer knowing that he was a slaver.
I don't know how I feel.
He was a merchant police officer.
Yeah. That threw people into slavery conveniently whenever he chose to.
It really does feel like you're just trying to justify an impulse decision.
I mean, was
And
he
if that
not
is how
throwing
you
us into
live, that's
slavery?
fine.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong here?
I'm not.
Seriously?
Again,
I don't understand.
this is not about him dying, which, again, I was for that at the very start.
All right. Well, I will cease to. It's whatever you want. Should I walk into the desert, or should we go to sleep? It's
Need to find camp. It's late.
yeah. For now,
We all need
there's
our
nothing
rest.
we can do. If you want to murder me in my sleep for this, great.
Oh, good heavens!
No one's going to do that.
Well, I need to get some rest. All of this has happened, and I need to get some sleep.
I know where there's a little oasis. You guys can follow me. Attic bunch.
Great.
Oh, Sorry, we're not all used to killing. For some of us a quite new experience.
He just kind of like looks over at Soup, who's just like smiling with his tongue hanging out the side of his mouth. He's got blood all up in his fur.
Not him.
He's like, come on. And he just turns and starts walking away from the river, and kind of heading east, northeast, away from the cat statue.
I mean, I don't really want to follow this jackass. What are we feeling, team?
Oh, well, he's done nothing but just make himself so lovable.
I love his personality.
Well, I do
I'm gonna
think
follow him into the desert. Zuzu's gonna. I mean, I'm gonna say we got no other real choice. This guy owes me his life. If he leads us into the desert, I'll be the one to take care of it.
I tend to agree with Zuzu about his sincerity. I don't see any reason why he would turn on us, but frankly, the world is a very different place than I thought it was a few weeks ago.
I think you're right about that.
He can find us somewhere safe to sleep. That's all that we need to worry about right now.
Sounds like a waste as it is.
Alright, so you follow him, and it's not far away. It's maybe a, 20-minute hike over some low dunes with some, some scrub brush. They're not like pure dunes, they do have some growth on them. But pretty soon the dunes give way to just more rocky desert and scrub brush, and you do see a grouping of like 10 palm trees around like a low spot, like a sinkhole or something that has just become filled with water over time. He kind of leads you to it. It's pretty big. It's definitely enough to like kind of find a hidden place amongst the trees where no one will see you or see your fire from far away. If you have a fire. And there's some water. He kind of leads you in, and I think maybe there's an old ratty hammock or 3 hanging between some of the trees.
Nice place.
This is where they were making us sleep. They wouldn't let us stay in the cat monument like the others.
Well, the accommodations weren't much better in the cat monument, if it makes you feel any better.
We were fine with it. The stuffy priests just don't understand my kind.
Who was making you sleep here?
The lamp keeper on high, whoever was throwing their little cat party. Recruitment ceremony, whatever you want to call it.
And what are you that they don't understand? What kind of person are you?
He just kind of smiles. He's like, well, I guess a smuggler. Thief? Mercenary?
Yeah.
You got the smug part right.
Back there, you shouted something about the Black Candle and this gulag gang that Zuzu seems to know about. What's that about?
He just kind of smiles. And he's like, gulag gang's on the up and up. Getting hired for lots of new jobs as of late. Lamp keepers, using them as muscle. Trying to recruit the junk traders. The poor. Those leaving the cities. But they need to be policed.
And so, who polices the gulag gang?
And it's like, well, that's where the Black Candle comes in. They work together. They're running some sort of drug trade up and down the coast. He, like, pulls out a little satchel, or, like, a tiny little, purse. And he's like, takes a pinch of some powder out. He's like,
Is that drugs?
pure ghoul powder. He just kind of smiles real big again. He's like, but fuck them, they're cutthroats, assholes, backstabbers. They don't live by a code. Not the way we did in Belsur.
sorry, are you doing drugs right now?
He, yeah, puts that little pinch up to his nose and just gives a heavy snort.
Oh, good gracious.
And he, like, holds the pouch out towards you, Cedric.
No, I don't imbibe, thank you, but thank you.
So, Awa, who do you work for? The Black Candle or the Gulag Gang?
Neither.
Hmm.
I used to
You
have
know a lot about them.
I used to have ties to the Candle in Belsur through my father, who is now dead, along with our burned down house and ranch.
Sir, what do you know about these organizations? Something about them certainly triggered you?
Yeah, he kind of looks at you, I think, Awa looks at you. He kind of glances at your arms and neck, like trying to find a tattoo. I think you notice he has a black candle tattooed on his wrist.
Yeah, and I'm gonna look at him real hard and just like with hatred. And letting him know that like I ain't this guy's friend. Like, yeah, I saved his life, but it was for my own reasons, basically. So, like, I ain't this guy's friend, and I obviously didn't even attempt to get any of the ghoul powder. And I'm just gonna ask him. I'm gonna say one name, and it's gonna be Erg. Have you seen Erg?
He just kind of nods slowly. Like, you can see the understanding growing across his face.
Where is that son of a bitch?
On his way back to Sarkhan with the others. Like I said, Gulag's on the up and up. Lots of new clients. They left me behind to wait for you. Slit your throats if you came out.
And I'm just gonna be like gripping the shit out of my hammer
And
right now.
And then he's gonna like spit on the ground. He's gonna be like, fuck them. They abandoned me. I could tell that none of them like me, especially that big oaf. They were hoping I would starve out here or you would kill me. They really expected me to take care of you by myself. Please.
You're right about that. Erg's an idiot. I think that you could stop me from finding him especially.
Erg and Father Hassan have had it out for me from the very beginning. They only hired me to be someone they could kill. They knew I just needed the work and would do anything they said. I just needed a safe way to travel. And, well, get my fix. He kind of like smiles and puts another pinch of ghoul powder up his nose.
I'm gonna tell him if I see him at dawn, he dies.
You want him to leave?
Yeah.
He just looks kind of surprised. And he's like, I'll do anything for you. There should be no hatred between us. We have a common enemy, please. I'm willing to...
Then pour that ghoul powder into the sand.
He just kind of looks at you seriously. And he slowly, like, tips it over. A very serious look on his face. It just blows off into the wind and disappears into the sand.
Now he's done what you asked, and he has done a service to our group. I don't think you should travel with us, Awa, but I don't think you'll be killed in the morning if you're here either. Isn't that right, Suzu?
Fine. I'll take first watch.
How about this for a deal? I'll be gone in the morning. I'll do you a favor. I'll take these two boys all the way back to Sarkhan.
Well, no, that ain't gonna happen.
Why not? I know a good orphanage. Well, a priest.
We're gonna entrust these kids in your capable hands? I don't think so.
He's like, sure, I love kids. He kind of does a fake punch to, one of them. Like a hey sport on one of their arms.
No, I don't think that will be happening. but we appreciate the offer.
I don't.
Cedric kind of
Laura.
gives already a look like, yeah, I don't fucking either, but
Fine. Anything else you'd have me do, Lord Zuzu?
Stand in front of me while I take watch.
He looks confused.
I just don't want you to be at my back.
He just like rolls his eyes. He's like, fine, I'm going to sleep. And he climbs in one of the hammocks. He's like, you should all do the same.
I'll take second watch. Anyone else?
I can't sleep. I already know it. I'm going to do my studies this evening.
All right.
So are you taking first watch with Zuzu, Cedric? Or
Well, to be honest, I won't be paying any attention at all. But,
I'll keep watch over him. You don't
Nice
have to
thing.
do much.
like your Zuzu, and when I finish, it will only take about an hour, and then I can take a watch.
I'll take second watch with the ready.
Alright. You divvy up the watches. Cedric gets some candles lit, or a fire going, and gets to studying and copying into his spell book and so forth. And you bed down.
When's already taking his watch?
Second.
Yeah, second watch.
So you're sleeping now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's probably not like a deep sleep by any means, but enough.
I think Cedric, if you guys don't mind a quick aside, would be like,
Alrighty, could I speak to you for a moment?
Yeah, fine by me.
Yeah, everybody gets settled in. Zuzu is just, angrily watching Awa sleep. The kids are like falling asleep by the fire. You kind of scuttle off to the side together, off into the palm trees and sand.
I can't help but notice that,
Should we go to a whisper channel? Do you guys want to go to another channel?
it's a
I'm fine with staying here.
No, Whispers from
mind.
Beyond, sorry.
He
Anyone,
forced me in here.
anyone else coming?
I don't know.
Anyone else you wanted to include? Is Cora coming too?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think this would be.
This sounds like a strictly just us two conversation.
I've noticed that you're uncomfortable with my magic use, to put it lightly, as well as the others.
To put it bluntly, yes, I am.
Well, you may find this surprising, but for most of my life I shared your perspective. I can respect it. And I won't ask you to change it because it is a powerful tool and it's complex, mystifying. It can do great harm in the hands of evil men. But I hope you know, from what you've seen so far, that I'm a good man, or I try to be. And magic is a tool for me to do good. So when I use it, it is not out of disrespect for your beliefs or how you feel about such a power, but I would like to do it without your judgment.
You know what makes this especially hard for me, Cedric? It's that I actually like you. A whole lot. I really do. You seem to have a solid head on your shoulders. You have good ideas. It feels like we run along the same wavelengths more often than not. The problem is, I believe you. I do. But I've also seen what sorcery does to people. And you start small, and you start small doing the right things, but over time it's not You, Cedric, it's the ego. The ego grows beyond your control. I've seen it happen before to good, decent people. And every single one of them wound up becoming a detestable asshole because the power made it so they could be.
I think there's wisdom in your words. Absolute power does corrupt absolutely. But I'm not very powerful, and I'm very old, so I won't have very much time to be corrupted. But really, if you do notice something, help me. I do agree it is a power that I don't understand, and maybe I'm just meddling. But if you do see something begin to change me, you let me know. Because I care more about being a good man than a powerful magic user.
I pray that day never comes, Cedric. I really do. And I hope you prove me wrong. But I'm not wrong a whole lot.
But I will certainly do my best. Well, I won't keep you awake any longer. Thank you for having this little chat with me. I think we at least have an understanding.
I'll be a little bit more chill about your magic use from here on out. I won't like it, and I don't need to like it, but I won't raise a fuss for you or for anyone else in the party, if it makes you feel better.
It would. I wouldn't ask you to change your convictions, but I would ask you to accept that it's my way of doing my best for the party, bringing my best foot forward, so I would appreciate that very much.
I think you underestimate yourself, Cedric.
Perhaps I do. It's kind of you.
That's fun.
All right, back to Bone Legion.
Yeah, back to Bone Legion.
Stepping on toes.
Whoa, that was
Man.
dang.
Oh.
Hell
That
yeah.
was wild.
That
was a
Main
great
channel.
one.
What
That
up,
was a
main
good one.
channel? Represent main channel.
That's so
Oh, you guys are
sexual.
back.
So quick.
You guys missed that.
So touching. So many tears. Yes,
We were
those
laughing
happened.
so hard.
So we were doing impersonations of our favorite animal sounds, and you guys, what y'all's?
No, oh, okay. Oh, sorry. No,
Too late. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, you missed out.
Okay, I'm back.
Guess you wouldn't be able to handle my favorite animal sound.
We heard it earlier, I think, when that guy laughed.
Oh yeah.
No, that's not it. That's not it. It's my second favorite.
Mm-hmm. I like a good hyena.
I said it's too late.
All right, so I believe people were going to sleep.
I'm not crying.
I would like to bring Jim into the whisper room. Everybody, one at a time.
It's becoming a reality show all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, once we got into the conversation, I was like, oh, there was no need to bring this into the other channel.
Yeah, I figured. You know, it's fine.
Anyway.
But we'll never know.
Anyone else gonna do anything else in camp other than go to sleep?
No.
Actually, yeah, I do. At some point, once an Awa is at least, I don't know, has bedded down or something, I do want to approach him.
Yeah, I mean,
Surreptitiously.
he pretty much immediately climbed into his hammock. He probably falls asleep surprisingly quickly and comfortably. He's like probably snoring by the time you get to him. Lightly, you know, he's still kind of half awake, dozing off.
Yeah, I knock him on the arm. Hey,
What? Yes? What?
a gold powder. Got any more of it?
He just like giggles a little bit. He's like, you fiend. I wish I did. I know where to get more. I know where there's a whole grove of ghoul trees. Black oleanders.
How much?
40 trees, 50, contained
Alright.
in a canyon where the ghouls can't escape. Pick them off from above.
Where is it?
Far away. Bell, sir.
Belsor.
I'm trying to get back there. They burned my family's ranch, but they didn't find the grove. Listen, you help me get there, I'll split it with you. You don't have to tell them where we're going there. See, this one should have been in a private channel, goddammit.
Well, you also seem to forget that Dante took second watch with him, so
No, yeah,
I'm just
I wasn't. I was just, yeah, it's fine as long as you're not in earshot.
Yeah, I mean, they're not where you can actually hear Dante. They're...
No.
So,
Where's the drug
I
tree?
just see the two of them talking, and I'm just like, okay, this is
Fix.
weird.
Yeah, I think you see that Awa is smiling a lot.
I smack the smile off his face.
He just rolls his eyes. He's like, people are so dramatic.
Yeah, that's what I do best at. I got a gold medal for theater back in when I was getting educated in my youth. What do you think about that?
I'm
Go
not-
back to sleep.
I'm not surprised. You're
I leave. I leave.
You're stunning.
Yeah, fuck you. Hey, Dante, anything out there?
No, not anything I've noticed other than a slimy smile on his face when you were talking to him.
Yeah, with his little shithead.
Mhm.
Takes pleasure in all kinds of perverse stuff.
Yeah, I could tell. Sun should be coming up soon. It's cold out here. Late at night.
Yeah, that's the desert for you.
It is.
So what do you got for me, Dante?
What do you mean?
Oh, you raised a little bit of a heckle earlier. I presume that you had a word or two to share with me.
Oh, that. Seems like so much has happened since then. Honestly, I don't get what your deal is with magic. You seem to hate it, and yet it's keeps kind of getting us out of tough binds.
Which ones?
It helped in the boat. It helped in the crypt. You've got to admit that, right?
I can see where it may have been beneficial, but you see, I see it from a different perspective. You see, it wasn't magic that solved our problems. It was our skills. Our innate skills that we've learned, our hands, our minds, our bodies. It wasn't magic that figured out how to raise a platform, get us back to the surface. That was you, Dante.
Okay, fair, but do you not think magic is a skill?
I think magic causes more problems than it fixes.
Why is that?
I used to know someone named Aaron. He was an enterprising little magic user back up north. And he was a fair kid. He had a bit of spunk to him and a light in his eye, learning magic, making something of himself. I think it was something called I don't know what they call them, some kind of special folk up in Rinmar.
Never
But
been.
sorry?
Never been there. Not sure what they'd call them.
It's a beautiful place. That's not the point. The point is that I had more than a few interactions with this fella when he was stationed with our regiment. I watched him grow. And I watched him grow more powerful and began to be able to use greater magics, and I saw what it did to him. And the sweet little fun kid that we used to, mess around with, have a few drinks, he let it get to his head. He let it drive him. And he let that power drive him forward. He wasn't in control of what he did so much as he was being led on by ambitions that were beyond his scope. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're saying it like consumed him like a drug would.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. I know what you mean.
And the thing is, I just ain't seen an exception to the rule. Zarin wasn't the only one. And anyone who tried to be greater by using arcane means, it became the only thing that defined them, and it became an obsession. And some fucking asshole wizard 1,000 years ago said, hey, everyone should learn magic. Magic's great, it can change the world. Instead, it just became all that they were. Does that make any sense?
No, I understand.
It stopped being people.
Yeah.
It started being sorcerers. In many ways, that ain't the same thing.
Right, but do you really think... I mean, look at Cedric over there, just curled up in the sand with his books next to him. You really think he's going to become some crazy sorcerer that's going to just burn the city to the ground?
As soon as you say that, he already gets like a faraway look in his eye, and he says, I hope not.
I think it's possible.
I think it's going to happen.
He's too kind-hearted.
So was Aaron.
Fair point. I just wanted to understand, I guess, what it was that you disliked about it. I'll try not to grow too powerful or do anything too crazy with a little bit of skills that I have, and I'll keep an eye on Cedric for you. I don't think he's going to get out of hand, but, you know, if he does, we'll take care of it.
If it makes it feel any better, Dante said this to him, but it ain't you. I've seen what you can do, and I think you can do a whole lot without relying on what magic can do for you.
It's mostly parlor tricks for me. You know, smoothing the occasional bad situation over is all.
Well, considering the situations we get into, we're gonna need a hell of a lot of that. You know about that, Dante?
We might.
You know that if Zuzu does another fucking stunt like that, I might just kill him, right?
Yeah. We probably need to have a talk with him. We've got to figure out what we're doing. Because we can't just keep killing everybody that we come across and going straight into conflict.
That ain't it, though. And now I agree with you on that point, but the more we second guess our decisions, the more it's going to rip at the fabric of this group. We make a decision, you have to commit. And so far, he's done nothing but do one thing and commit to something else at the last moment. We need to define our tolerance, or else he's going to put the rest of us at risk.
Maybe so.
Can both of you
Good talk.
make a wisdom check
Okay.
at disadvantage?
Okay.
Let me shrink that down. I got a 3.
Woo!
I got a 12, baby, which is still not the worst.
Dante, I think you hear some leaves ruffle, like, kind of on the opposite far edge of the, kind of oasis, this stand of trees here. You glance over, and you see two shadowed figures, break from the tree line out into the desert, maybe 50 feet away from you, or 60 feet away from you, heading away from you, deep into the desert. It looks like it's, It looks like it's Dieter and Rosco.
Oh shit. Do I see them like in the camp anywhere?
No, like, yeah, you see just two like shadowed figures who are obviously smaller than full-grown people, like break free from the tree line. Just kind of out of the corner of your eye, you glance over and notice it, and they like are running out into the desert away from you. And you glance back at the camp, and yeah, I think you notice that neither of the kids are there.
I kind of slap Already on the shoulder and I'm like, is that the kids out there?
Where? I look. I don't see him. What do you mean?
I think the kids are running away.
At this point, they
shit.
run across like a big open stretch of where the moonlight's really hitting them, and you see them as well. Already.
Oh, motherfucker. Okay, we can't let them go out there, yeah?
No, we can't.
How good are you at running?
I can make pace. If
One
you
of
want
us
to wake
stays
the
here.
others, I'll go.
Go get him.
Yeah. Yeah, Dante will start making pursuit after him.
All right, so Dante's gonna run. Already, you're gonna wake everybody up, or?
I think right now I'm just gonna wake Cora up.
I think that I should be able to roll something, or I feel like as a mother, like I have not slept fully since my kids were born.
These aren't
Like,
your
it's just
kids,
not,
though.
you know what I mean? I know,
But-
but I think that it is very hard for me to imagine one of those boys getting up and sneaking off without her having a very firm grip on it. But you know what? Not my game.
Well,
I'll just play along.
Listen, imagine, yes, you're asleep and your kids are asleep, but your husband is awake, like 5 feet from their room.
Oh no, I don't have that kind of marriage.
Well, whatever, you know. What I mean.
My husband, they don't go. He could be in the same room with them holding the cereal. They come ask me for cereal. It's good. We got a good thing going.
You have two big, strong guys watching these kids. They're literally there. That is what their job is to do. And they didn't fail at it. They noticed them trying to run away. So, anyway, they shake you awake.
I'll suspend my disbelief. What? Oh, I was asleep. I've never slept so good in my life.
Hey, you're the ward of those kids? Those kids are running out into the desert.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Dante's sprinting after him right now. I don't think we need to wake the whole camp, but I think one of us needs to get a move on and back him up.
Well, I mean, I can't just sit here and let him go. You got to watch these guys. I mean, I got to go.
I'll keep an eye on the camp. You get running.
She zooms off, grabs up
Remember,
her bag.
Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth.
I've been running.
All right, let's cut back to Dante, who's already now out in the sand, far out of the tree line of the oasis, chasing these kids. Let's see, I guess a strength check to see if you can catch them.
Oh. This could be bad.
Yeah, they got a pretty big head
Nope.
start, yeah. You don't lose them, but you're not gaining on them either. And you can see that they like start climbing up like a big rock bluff, kind of jutting up out of the sand. And once they get up the wall, they'll be out of your view. Like they'll be able to run and hide and disappear. Unless you do something else.
Shit. What could I do?
You don't got a hold person, Andy.
No. But
Shoot him with
Rosco's
an
the-
arrow.
is Roscoe the older?
Roscoe's the young one, the little one. Dieter is the older one.
Okay, so Dieter's the older. So I could maybe try this. How far away would you say they are?
I don't know, 100 feet, 150 feet.
Ooh. So could I try doing charm person on Dieter to get him to come back?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure, almost certain Roscoe is too young to come up with a plan like this on his own.
Yeah.
So if Dieter,
That's not the
he'll
right thing
he'll
to drop.
do
That
whatever
was-
Dieter does. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Or be charmed to follow this one. Sure. Nice. So you pick one, right? No, it's just telling. Oh, I see. It's listing each one individually. They share a language. You can also give them commands, which they'll obey. They regard you as a friend. Commands that contradict their nature can be ignored, and they won't kill themselves, of course. Restrictions. Human-like monsters are greater than 4+1 HG. Good point. It's just 4 HG. We gotta simplify some of this to fit Black Hack. Okay, cool.
Then I need to see if I retain the spell for the day too, right?
Yep.
Which is a intellect roll.
I think you use charisma, right? Your bard?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't know. I'm sure it says on the bard. Hold on, I have it. Sheet.
If I make a charisma roll, modifier, nothing. Ooh, I lose it. Okay.
I don't have the bard sheet on here. Sure, it's probably charisma. Okay, so you do cat. It's successful though automatically.
And so yeah, the command would just be, get back here.
What does your charm person spell look like? Do you like play your instrument? Do you just sing?
Yeah, no, it's last time I started playing the hurdy-gurdy and basically ripped off the Friends theme songs, but I think this time he plays the hurdy-gurdy, and as he's playing it, he kind of hums out a few notes since it's late at night and he's trying to not blow their cover out here.
Okay.
So you just hear kind of this soft melodic like hum.
So this is like
Maybe a little whistle. Yeah.
Right as they breach like the top of this like essentially really low mesa or like rock formation sticking up out of the desert, outcropping I guess you could call it. They kind of reach the top of the climb up to the flat part up top where they're like able to run out of view, but Dieter just stops in his tracks as soon as he stands up on the top edge. And then, cut to Cora running up from behind, seeing him standing up on the edge and seeing you like playing the hurdy-gurdy down at the bottom of this like kind of rocky, cliffy climb up to the top of the mesa.
Please, Dante, tell me you got a plan.
I've done as much as I can without. I can't catch up to them, but I think they might be coming back.
Well, you haven't given him any commands yet.
Oh yeah, no. Okay, so after I stopped singing, I guess the command would be get back here, or like get over here.
Dieter just
Get over here.
turns around and like looks down at you guys from up on top of the rocks, and he turns to Rosco and says something kind of inaudibly, and they slowly start to climb back down.
These boys. Thank you, Dante. We gotta get these boys somewhere, but it can't be like this. They can't do this on their own.
Yeah, this wasn't my best work.
No, you did it. They're coming back. I mean, I couldn't have caught up to them. You did it.
It feels wrong though. I feel like I've forced them. We've got to figure out, I don't know, why they were trying to run away. Why did they think they could survive out there?
I know, and sometimes with young people, you gotta force them just to keep them alive. And I feel responsible for keeping them alive. But they can't be in a situation like this anymore, and this just proves it to me. I've really been thinking on it, and my heart, I can't keep doing this to them.
I know. We'll get them somewhere safe.
So around this time, they make it to the bottom and cross the sands and approach you. Dieter looks a little sad, but he's just like, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. We'll go back to camp and go to sleep. And then he just kind of walks past you. Still, he's kind of like magically charmed. So he's not really like speaking as himself per se.
Yeah, I think that ever since this, you're not my mother situation, Cora's really tried to just kind of take a back seat and, not helicopter them, like love them from afar and try to let them feel like give them the impression that they have control, but while actually maintaining control. So I think that she just is kind of like, well, then we'll all go back together, and she doesn't want to, push them away.
All right, yeah. He goes back to camp and, without really saying a word or seeming like anything's wrong at all, he just tells Rosco to go to sleep and he goes back to sleep. Still magically charmed, and when he wakes up in the morning, it will have worn off, but.
Cora will spend a little extra time in the morning when she's doing her prayers. She'll get up a little earlier and just spend some extra time, doing like a meditative kind of thing to try and process a lot of this trauma.
All right. And real quick, as we kind of go back to ending your camping, all the drama of your camp, Cedric, what spells were you trying to copy into your book?
What spells did we get from loot?
That's right. Did we roll or decide what spells you actually got?
I think we decided the level, but we don't know what actual spells they are.
That's right.
There was one grimoire for a magic user that had. It says the way I wrote this was one grimoire, one magic user spell, 3 max level, and then one grimoire, 4 magic user spells, 2 max level.
Yeah,
the
3 max level one was prayers, if I recall.
I had 4 max levels.
I had
as
4 max levels.
Oh, that's right. It was 1 level 4 spell and 2 level 1 spells, right, in the cleric book. What we decided. And or for, is that right? 1 level 4, 2 level 2s or something. I just listened to this in the episode, but
Yeah, I wrote it down really weird. I don't know why. I was probably high.
I do remember the scroll was read magic.
Oh, did we get that scroll too?
Yeah, there was a level 1 spell scroll that was read magic. And then there was a magic user grimoire with like a couple level 2 spells in it or something.
I will listen to it, but I know I'm gonna do the 2 next level 2 spells I'm gonna do. And they are going to be mirror image and invisibility.
Okay. Usually I roll to see what the scrolls are randomly.
Oh yeah, that's fine too.
But I don't actually mind saying like there are 2 levels 2 scrolls, you have to like, divine what they are. You can choose 2 new level 2 spells. I'm fine with that. We gotta figure out. God damn it! Can you someone pop what they wrote in the chat for the loot, or I can scroll up, I guess.
Yeah, hold on. I got the whole list here. Do you want me to do books and tomes and everything too, or just the scrolls?
Just the scrolls and stuff.
All right, so for that, those are all non-fiction scrolls. So then trinkets, alchemical ingredients, stones, magic items, and then spells. We got these. So that's how I wrote it. Like I said, I'm not sure how helpful that is.
Let's see.
I think it was supposed to be first level magic.
The 1 grimoire, 1 magic user spell, that's the scroll. And that, we decided, I think, was read magic. It's level 1. I don't know, it says 3 max level. And then the grimoire, was 4 spells. I think it was 2 level 2 spells and... Wait. Max level... You don't have a max level written for the second set. Oh, 2 max level, yeah.
2 max level.
So I think it was 2 level 2 spells and 2 level 1 spells is what you get to choose, Andy. And then also read magic. Scroll is.
Cool.
But it's going to cost a lot to... Each one is 50 GP, or usually 50 coins times the level. In, like, supplies, I think, or something like that. Do you have money right now? You probably don't, right?
We've picked up some coin, but I don't know
some
if it's
coin,
that
but
much.
no, I don't even have 50. I think I have like 36.
That's all right. I'll let you copy. I mean, these are all low level. I don't really think that matters too much. It's more about spending the time, I think, ciphering. You already have the spell book. I'm not gonna They know you don't get your spells yet. That's not nice.
Well, I mean, take it along with too. Like for this, it's whatever you want to do. But I have added them all to my character sheet.
Nice.
So if they're on there, if you don't want me to cast them yet, that's
No,
fine.
no, it's fine, dude. You take the night, you copy them into your book. You have mage, supplies with you.
Sweet.
What other spells were you taking? What level 1 spells were you taking? Do you know?
Yes, I took detect magic and what was the other one I was gonna take? Read magic.
Yeah.
Read magic and detect magic.
You
But I guess I got read magic for free, didn't I?
Yeah, so you get one other level 1. You technically get 3 level 1 spells and 2 level 2 spells.
I'll say I don't have light yet. I'll take light.
Okay, there you go. Alright, cool. So you spend the night copying all those scrolls and things and into your grimoire. I'm sure you I don't know, you maybe destroy the one that you found after you copied into your own book.
Yeah. Eat it.
Nice. And yeah, Clara, you get to pick 1 level 4 spell, I think, and 2 level 2 spells is what I said last time.
Cool.
Prayers or whatever.
Right.
Other than the level 4 spell you can't cast yet, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's just something I'm interested in, I'm sure. So that means I just would add I get to learn new ones additionally to the ones I already have. I have 6 in my book. So then I would just add 3 more.
Yeah, damn, you rolled really well at the beginning.
I rolled max.
Right.
I rolled my character so good.
You can pick any 2 level 2 spells and any 1 level 4 spell to just already have
Okay.
it to add to your book.
Okay, do I have to know right now?
Nah, that's fine.
Okay.
Pick this right. Alright, cool. So you camp for the night. The next day, the sun comes up. The desert heat sets in once again. And the charm has worn off of Dieter, and he is like pouting angrily already by the time you guys get up off to one side, off in the woods, just like sitting with his back to everyone and his arms crossed, fuming, kind of realizing what happened last night, that he was magically forced to come back. But he's not saying anything. And everybody just goes about packing up their stuff. That's right, go ahead.
Cora would just like turn to the group and just say like, does one of y'all think you could try to talk to him, find out what's going on? I don't think that they don't want to hear it from me. I mean, I understand their situation with their mama is complex, and maybe it's just too close. It hurts that I care. Can you just tell them we're trying to get them somewhere safe, and I don't know, see what they want? Maybe anybody.
I can speak to them. You look after the young one. I'll speak to Dieter.
I don't think they're gonna want to be separated. Whatever.
We're not
you
gonna.
say to one.
I don't want the young one to hear what I have to say to Dieter.
Yeah, Dieter's like sitting off alone right now anyway, so you should be good if you just go over.
Okay, good.
Just wait, Zuzu. Just one thing.
Yeah.
Just whatever you say to him. Try to use a lot of we sentences, not a lot of I sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon
Surely.
as soon as Zuzu wanders off to talk
You
to
cut
the
out.
kids, I'm gonna lean over to Cora and say, "You really want him talking to the kids?"
Well, you didn't speak up, so I guess this is what's happening.
Well, it's a chance for him to redeem himself.
So I'm kind of interested on how this goes.
I'm ready
No,
for this.
we
I'm
can-
here for
Me
it.
too.
I want to hear this. This is gonna be so good.
I was gonna say it's up to you, Zuzu. Maybe this is a good time to take a break, or we could take a break right after you talk to him. Maybe.
I would love to take a little break.
Yeah, this is a good time to take a break. I think also while we take the break, reconsider goals for. We still have an hour and a half or so, hour and 15. So just consider your goals and so forth. And we'll go over goals maybe real quick too, before you guys set out from your camp.
Great.
Sure.
All right, be right back.
Kevin Bacon, Reba McIntyre. Gotta pull out that elephant gun. We're gonna go hunt.
What was that?
It was a video that I was looking at. Was the bucket of a backhoe reaching towards this thing in the dirt, and as it barely touched it, it started wiggling around, and the video caption was, "What is this?" And this girl cuts in, and she's like, "We need to get Kevin Bacon and Reba McIntyre and the elephant gun," and it's basically she's implying it's a trimmer, and I was like, "Oh, fair."
Well, what was it though?
No idea. Looked like
Oh
some
my
kind
God.
of eel in the dirt or something.
Dirt eels. I heard of them.
Yeah, they didn't answer what it was. They just made the joke. I was like, okay, it works. Man. What is Zuzu gonna say?
God, this is gonna be a great moment. I bet you he's gonna say something real good though. It's gonna be choice conversation.
I'm excited. I can't remember. I think it's over here. Let me see. Action differences, banishes. No, it's not classes. There's a link. Oh, in here. Oh. There it is. Gotta have 9.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Or are we dropping beliefs now?
Yeah, sure. Already, just looking at yours. Excuse me. They're good. Your belief. Good. I had another one of your goals. Train Dieter to defend himself. You're still sticking with that?
I only just got that.
Oh, okay. Even
Yeah,
in light of him wanting to run away.
Yeah. If anything, now it's even more important. So if he runs away and actually succeeds, he'll still stand a chance. For right now, that kid's gonna get himself and Rosco killed.
All right. I'll take a hit for one of the party members. That's good. I'll indulge my vices. This is what I was gonna say. Do you want to make it something more directed at Awa's proposal, or?
The thing is, I'm really deciding whether or not I want or ready to pursue that, but it would just be stupid to pursue it. I also think I can indulge in my vices in Arc City is the thing.
Yeah, true.
It sounds like a kind of a vice city.
It is, yeah, I think like a big crossroads city, a lot of travel and trade coming through. People who stay there tend to be strange folk.
Can I just say that I'd love that you want that ghoul powder and then Zuzu made him dump it out? Like, what a neat dynamic.
Yeah, I definitely didn't voice it, but boy howdy already was keeping his eye on that. Like his jaw was tightening as soon as it just got dumped.
Yeah, I just think his reaction is he's like, dump it. You're just like, oh, I mean, it's like, Oh my god.
What a waste. Someone could have snuffed that, and it could have been me.
Also, out of all the narcotics in this world, there's not many that are illegal, but ghoul powder is one, and it's also really, really rare, because, like, he was saying something about 40 black oleander trees. Like, that's insane. That would be, like, thousands of ghouls being produced, or hundreds of ghouls being produced. Because, as we've learned in our other campaigns that you guys aren't in, these trees produce one flower for every ghoul they give birth to. And one flower makes, like, you know, whatever, a kilo of the drug, or not even that much, probably. Maybe, you know, an ounce.
I'm not even sure if ghoul powder is going to be my vice of choice, but it could have been available, and I was going to take it if it was available, but it got dumped.
Yeah, I'm sure you know how good it make you feel.
Yeah. Ooh.
You get that itch.
I think that's very interesting, though. I'm interested to see. Well, anyway, I thought you could maybe sharpen the indulge my vices. You could even add, I'll indulge my vices in Arc City, or I'll resist. I'll as promised, or find out more about it. I don't know. It's up to you. I just thought it was
I don't think I'm gonna pursue it. I think that is only beneficial for me, and as interesting as it would be to pursue that, Arc City just seems so much more feasible for trying to indulge in vices. That's really where my head is at.
All right.
Rather than going off on a trip. So, yeah.
Or I'll find common ground with one or more of my fellow boners. You're getting there, I think, already with multiple people. I'm interested to see how this thing plays out with Zuzu right now, too. Let's see. I'll facilitate the departure of Rosco and Dieter. That's a good one. I like that. I'll not cause harm without justification. That seems more like a belief.
Okay.
I feel like that's a really good, strong belief. I feel like an easy one to challenge yourself on.
I'll swap them.
Meeting the needs of others, always meeting my own. Yeah. I feel like it would be good to, you could replace that. I mean, that's kind of like her core belief. I don't think she needs to have that all the time, per se.
Her Cora belief.
Yeah. Her Cora. Also, I feel like
Cora's a
number one, you've kind of played on it, but now it's like, I don't know. Number one's good. I just feel like that's more about the kids, so. That reminds me of my principles. In order to survive does not make for a life worth living. That's good. I think that could be replaced with I'll not cause harm without justification. That's kind of based on your principles.
Okay, cool.
And your survival and so forth. My action should be a good example for those who need one. Yeah, that's still good, I think. Dante will survive. My survival comes before anything else. I have not and will not kill another human being. I'll confront Aretti the next time he bashes magic use, since I know there are 3 of us in the group. That's good. You kind of started that one a little last time. I guess you kind of satisfied that one already, to be honest, this session.
So kind of just
It feels like we very directly talked about it, yeah.
Goal, repay Cora's kindness, and keep an eye on the boys and her. That's good. I'll learn more about the Black Candle from Awa. That's good too. Cedric. I'll not let my new powers and station in life turn me into a killer. Ooh, I like that one a lot. As a second belief for you, Cedric, I thought it would be interesting for him to have something. Oh, I was just thinking of it. What was it? Well, let me rack my brain. Fuck. I just think I know what it was. I think since there's a lot of like kind of tumultuous relationships in the group currently, the dynamic is one of a lot of interparty, interpersonal drama and stuff like that, which is good. I love that, but I also think that gives Cedric an interesting place because your last belief was about like kind of your power of positive thinking and everything.
Yeah, I still think that one. I just feel like this is. I don't think that's changed for him.
No, yeah, definitely. I think to add on to it, like as a second belief, now you could say like, it's my job or it's my duty to keep the party united, or I'll help. It could be a goal. I'll help out the party find our like collective purpose, or I don't know, just spitballing. But
Yeah, I think that was actually one of my goals last session was I will keep the party together at all costs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's definitely that's definitely in the cards for
Yeah,
him.
for sure. I just, I saw you had one belief. You don't have to add it as a second one, but also just based on your conversations kind of this session, I feel like everyone, the group is having interpersonal drama because you're all having a hard time finding like a common goal for everyone to kind of work for, I think, or even where to go next, or, what action to agree on, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
So I think your character's had an interesting dynamic in that sense, so I'd like to see more of that. Your goal is I will de-escalate a conflict. Well, that I didn't see that. That's kind of exactly it. So that's perfect. Is that a new one?
I did add that one, yeah.
That one's good. I'll smooth over my magic use with the ready. You did that pretty well so far, I think. We'll talk about that at the end. I'll make a new friend and I'll spare a life. Nice. These are all good.
Zuzus, aren't we?
Yeah, maybe. Yes. I would like to see some more specific ones moving forward.
Well, it was supposed to be. Oh, it was supposed to be my new friend, but I hate him.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, I don't think Cedric. I don't think we don't have a dynamic where I thought we make good friends.
He's a little dick. That's why. He's a little dicky. Anyway, I'd like to see some more specific ones. Like I'll make it to Arc City. I'll prove that thus and I don't know. I just want to see some more. Start tying them into some of the story strings that are laid out for you guys now, so we know where to go next. You know what I mean?
Yep, for sure.
Because you guys are like about to go somewhere new right now. We don't know where you're gonna go specifically. Maybe Arc City. No one has a goal relating to that, but that's like a really obvious one to get some XP and also to like drive your character to
I just don't think we're getting there today.
to the next place for sure. It doesn't have to be something you think you'll necessarily do today. It's just what you're gonna do next, right? So
I have that one.
nice. What this group? Where's it gonna go next in life? Perfect.
Oh man, wait, hold up. I just got a brand new goal.
I'm not saying you need that one. That was just an example of something specific. There's a lot of story hooks. There's the Black Oleander Tree. There's the Merchant Police. There's the Night Lanterns. I want to see something. I want to.
Oh, could I add talking to Dante or like trying to figure out what the common like the Merchant Police thing is, because he has it's Didymus, right? That we both share. Can I add a goal about that?
I don't think he has any connection to Didymus. Well, other than Miro mentioning him.
Okay, so he just has a conflict with the Merchant Police, and so do I.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I had a rival with Merchant Police.
And his rival knows your rival. You found out now, working with together, or we're working
maybe
together.
Could I try to figure out talk to Dante about that situation, try to find out more, because she doesn't know he doesn't know Didymus.
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously there's a lot of history with him and Miro, the guy that you guys murdered, and you guys were talking about you don't feel good about the murder. He was kind of a person. Dante obviously wasn't ready for it, as you were saying. So I think it could be an interesting goal for you to maybe dig into that, try and learn more about Dante's history with Miro, or or the Merchant Police as a whole.
Yes. And I thought about another one because I only had 2, and I feel like I would like to have more than 2 goals that I had for sure. So the other thing I thought about, and I don't know, but I will take a leap of faith and try. I think she's trying to restore her faith in this idea that she has that we all are just doing what's best and just trying to survive. And so I was thinking about something she'll take a leap of faith for one of her party members. Maybe do something. I don't really know for sure. I'm just kind of still working it out.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, maybe do whatever it takes to prove my. Yeah, I don't know. But that's good. I like that.
Something about
you're on the right track there.
Yeah. If I post, I'll say something
if you can
out the word.
Narrow it down. Sure, yeah. No worries. That's good. I like that. And again, everybody I'm not dogging everybody's goals. They're all good, but
no, I just only had 2.
Yeah, for sure. Zuzu, I wanted to do yours real quick. I'll convince those present to become part of my exploration venture. You had that before. make a ready pay for slapping me. I think you had that one last time too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is I will apologize for my rash decisions to Dante new.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. You guys kind of had a heartfelt conversation about it, but yeah, you didn't really you were still at an impasse when it was ended.
Yeah, exactly.
And taking others' life is commonplace. Can be justified at times. Stealing others, yeah, I think that's a good one for this session. I'll make back to Arc City with this group before deciding where to go next in life. That's good. We talked about that, and already you added an Arc City one too. Sweet. And you added indulge my vices in Arc City. Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Nope. Good job, everybody. Good session. See you next week. Just kidding. Let's keep going.
Son of
I was like, but it's so early. I need my fix, man.
My vices is D&D.
Yeah, I know. We missed a week too, so I'm really jonesing for it. Oh, it was so bad. I all my games got canceled last week. So
Same to us too. Our other
Yeah.
card. We didn't play last week either.
it was really rough. Anyway, okay. So the morning the morning comes. Should we jump in with Zuzu? Yeah, heading over to talk to brooding young
Yes.
Dita.
Was just gonna say right before we left, like Cora would say to everyone else, like, you know, maybe he's got away with kids. We just, something they don't respond to me, so maybe taking a different approach is what'll be best for him. Worth a shot.
I was like, I already told you, I have a way with kids.
I thought we weren't doing this anymore.
Okay, fine. And he just like turns and walks away. He makes like a locking his lips sign.
Okay.
Don't
now, I
like
know
the way
I
he
said,
says
I
that.
know I said I wasn't going to be just murdering, but gosh, he's testing me. He's a challenge from the mother. I swear she's been put here just to test me.
All right, Zuzu, you approach Dieter. He's just, hugging his knees at the edge of camp, looking away from everyone.
And so yeah, I'm gonna walk in front of him and kind of just squat down on my haunches and say, boy, where do you think you were running last night?
He just kind of looks up at you without moving his head, and then looks back down at the ground. He's like, away from here. Home. I can.
And you
Wherever.
you truly believe your mother is still alive in Sarkan?
He finally, really turns his head to look at you with a real angry look on his face. He's like, I don't give a shit about my mother. I know how to live on the streets. I've already done it for years. I can take care of myself. You adults cannot even take care of each other. You're all idiots. You're not helping.
I wouldn't be disinclined to agree with you. We have been rather rash, especially myself. But we just want to get you back to Arc City so that you can safely get wherever you want to go. Running off into the middle of the desert isn't going to help you or your brother.
What's going to a strange city going to help me and my brother do? Pick up a different type of crime? Learn a new grift so we can survive? Now in the sand instead of the walls of a city? In an old boat somewhere in the desert?
Well, we'd get you back to Sarkan. Do you really want to go back to Sarkan?
He just shakes his head. He's like, I don't know. I just want to go wherever I want, not where you want. Not where she wants. He nods back towards Cora.
I can understand Cora's been a little overbearing. The lecture she gave me about making decisions for others rang quite true with her, it seemed. But she's just trying to make sure that you and your brother survive. She and we all feel rather responsible for you and your brother, although we know it is just fate that we escaped with one another. You are but a child, and so is your brother, and we would like to see you both live. And getting out of the desert is the first thing to do to live. So, getting you to Ark City and then on your way back to Sarkhan or wherever you want to go from there uh, is probably the best decision. Once you get to Ark City, you can convince Cora that you're fine on your own. She'll be happy that she did the right thing for you. But
That
we
is
need to get you out of this desert.
That is so stupid. Do you know which direction Ark City is?
Yes.
Point it. Where do we go?
Well, and I point directly to the east.
And which direction is Sarkhan?
Sarkhan is along the river. If you follow this river,
Point.
and I point to the northwest.
I mean, it's directly west. From where you,
Sure, yeah,
if you
west.
look at where you are.
Well, sorry, I'm looking on a big old map.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, roughly you make a 180. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
point the opposite direction. And he just looks
Yeah.
at you and he's like, "Exactly. Who's a slave now?"
I'll laugh heartily at him and kind of
Zuzu
like
kills a child.
pat his back super hard, like big booming pats while I'm laughing, and just say, "Fine, boy, make your way through the desert if you want. But if you make it to Ark City with us, you'll get back to Sarkhan if that's where you want to go.
It's-
But walking through the desert is for days and days isn't a great decision."
It's nice of you to say, but I don't have much faith in you to convince your compatriots to let me leave with my brother. And he kind of glances back at the others, who are all huddled around, just watching you guys talk from far away.
Yeah.
Whispering amongst ourselves.
And he,
Cedric opens his spellbook when he notices he's looking at him. Oh!
he's like, "I don't think they trust you very much. Just because you said I can leave does not mean I can leave."
I just know that that's what they're all hung up on. They all want to get you to Ark City. They've told me that multiple times.
Hundreds
So,
of miles in the wrong direction from my home.
but we're already hundreds of miles out.
No.
Well, how far are we? Sorry, I don't.
He's actually mistaken, but it's alright because he's a kid and he's
Oh, okay.
fucking stupid. And also, it's pretty ambiguous because it's the desert, so you may not know exactly. But yeah, you're about 60 miles. You're almost exactly halfway. You're 60 miles from Sarkhan and 60 miles from Ark City.
Yeah. and
But so
okay.
technically, I guess it would be 100 miles away from his home in the wrong direction. But
Yeah.
either way, yeah, you're right. You're just as far away from there as you are from here.
Okay. Well, and so yeah, I'll just say we can't go back to Sarkhan, and where we can take you to get to Sarkhan is Ark City. And if you want to come there with us, great. If you don't, I understand why. But we're going directly there, so I'll stick out my hand and I can say whatever my promise is worth. I can promise you that I'll try to convince them to let you do what you want when we get there.
He just kind of nods and holds his hand out to give you a shake.
Okay. And I won't try to stop you if you're on the desert. You would probably die. And just turn around and walk.
He's like, "Wait.
What do you need?
If we find somewhere better before we arrive at Ark City, we're staying there."
Sure. I have no problem with that.
He just like nods and goes back to brooding and throwing stones at the dirt.
Calls us dramatic.
We're having like a really emotional. I didn't expect us to get into such deep emotional roleplay so early in the campaign. We're really having an emotional session.
I like it. It's kind of like
Brought
a
in the
good
ringers.
shakeout for the rest of everything.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I love that song.
So yeah, I'm gonna go back and tell everybody. I think him and his brother will travel with us to Ark City. He wants to find somewhere before there if he can to make his way back to Sarkhan. I told him we couldn't bring him back to Sarkhan because we would probably get thrown back into the the Colosseum. But
I mean, so will he.
exactly. But he doesn't trust me. He doesn't know me. I have no way to convince him of anything. What I did convince him of was to maybe travel to Ark City with us. And from there, if we let him go with his brother, travel back to Sarkhan, great. That's what he wants. But he definitely doesn't want to take any orders, so I agreed with him because I haven't really felt as though I've been ordering him around much. And yeah. If we want to keep an eye out on him, we can. I told him I wasn't going to. Because if he wants to do something so stupid as to run out in the desert and die with his brother, that's up to him.
I think
But-
Cedric, seeing how it seemed to go well, and then ended with a handshake, he's kind of like looking over his spell book, and he looks at Zuzu. He's like, "Well done, Zuzu." Kind of gives him a nod of approval, like,
You really did
Yeah.
it.
"You did it. You went over there. You're the challenge, crew."
I tried, friend. I tried.
Yeah, Cora is just like, you know, she's, I think, a little bit embarrassed, seeing this perspective. She's been so caught up in the moment and thinking about just keeping them alive, and it's just like when that instinct took over, and she's kind of seeing that maybe that's what's also going on with Zuzu. That, you know, her instinct to take care of these boys, he may not have that instinct, but like those are the decisions that maybe that's what's causing him to make the decisions that he's making. And so she just was like, say to him kind of sheepishly, you know, like, I'm glad you were able to find common ground. You know, I guess maybe I realized I don't know them. I know I care, and I didn't want something to happen to them, but I think I forgot along the way, you know, that not everybody sees things like I do, and I'm glad that you were able to do something I couldn't.
You have a kind heart, and the mother sees through you very clearly, but sometimes the world is a little more rough than we would all like it.
Well, I know rough. I've been through things that I wouldn't wish on anyone, and well, that's the reason I am the way I am. That's the reason I can do what I can do, and I'm strong and I'm wise, and I'm a valuable. I can fight, but I try to believe what's best is coming from a place of understanding one another, and I hope that I can see things a little bit more clearly now out here. That maybe I don't have as much. Maybe I don't know as much of what people are thinking as I think I do. So we all get it wrong sometimes.
Just remember, every strong plant like yourself needs a little wind. So if we want to let Dieter and his brother become strong and survive this crazy world, they must go through some things themselves, make their own decisions. We cannot be there for them forever.
Oh, you know what? And just between you and me, I don't like them. I mean, I love those boys. They are sweet, but they're not like my cup of tea. I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I'm happy that they're alive, but I don't. They're not like my boys were. No, they are definitely not. We got some different values, but I think that they don't. They just. It's a tough age, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Don't.
It's a tough age. Let's just get them to Ark City and make sure they live till then. How about that?
I think we can do that.
I think we can too.
All right, so you guys gonna set out across trackless desert towards Ark City, or go back to the river and try and travel that way?
River would be like the easiest to follow for sure, but also there's a risk of running across more merchant police.
The Lyran River is very busy. Well patrolled.
Is Awa still with us?
He is.
You're a smuggler. Which way would you smuggle, Awa? Would you go through the desert or would you follow the river?
Well, you go on the river and the merchant police find you, you all get your heads cut off, right?
Right?
So you have to smuggle yourselves. I would find someone I could pay. I'd stay down inside. Not very glamorous, but it'll get you there faster. And we won't die from the sun. That is if we can find a boat. Someone willing to do something dishonest for us.
Well, we just picked up a whole lot of loot. I think we have a good shot at robbing someone to let us on board if we get lucky.
I might know someone, in fact, but I will say, I think if we catch a boat, we should skip Ark City. We should head all the way to Belsur. I know people there. Could stay and live like pashas.
I do not plan to spend a second longer with you than I have to.
Let's cross that bridge when we come to it. Ark City first. We can plan where to go next from there.
Yes, let's find a boat then.
I suppose.
Gonna be contraband.
Do you guys head back to the river?
I think so. Right?
Yeah, let's do it.
I love that great strategy, Andy, of being like, oh, you have two ways to go. And you're like, I'll ask the GM what we should do.
Well, he is kind of a local, I guess.
He's
been
a
sent out
smuggler.
there.
It made sense. He's a smuggler. It made perfect sense, but it made me laugh so hard. Like, we don't know what to do. I know. I'll ask the one guy who knows.
I just
I
want.
walk into town and look for the first person I see. I say, hey.
What should we do?
You're making a
tutorial.
You're making a mistake by trusting any player or any NPC as if it were me, the GM. 'Cause he is not reliable as I am. I promise.
Whoa,
Yeah.
hold up. Are you saying that your NPC is unreliable?
You might say that.
This changes the way I think about Biscuit.
It changes the way I think about Charlie. You feel like he's deceiving
Biscuit
us.
Soup nuts. Pig nuts, sorry.
Popcorn.
Horse had it coming. Oh yeah, I definitely had to spend time like rubbing that horse blood off of me.
So, while there's a break, what about the other loot? There was a staff, there was armor. I mean,
Oh, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
I want people to have that on if we're gonna be interacting with the public, since we fight
Yeah.
them a lot.
yeah, I mean the only thing I'm interested in is the armor. Beyond that, it's your guys' choice. But if someone else wants the armor, I could find something else.
Am I still glowing blue?
No, it's gone away now.
Thank God.
All right, yeah, you're already wearing the black and Garfield armor, as I recall.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, you just put it on. You already took it.
I guess. I mean, I said that, but like, I didn't have to. I haven't been factoring that in, so it's fine if I don't actually.
I loved it. I loved it as like a character thing. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, okay.
Dude who like didn't want to go into the room and get any of the loot, like was the first one to grab something and throw
And
it.
Put it on.
wear it, yeah.
On the recording, Cedric actually put it on.
Oh yeah, Cedric put it on.
That's what it was.
Hey, no sense in letting the loot go to waste.
Do we have that list though?
Yeah. So
Do you guys want me to make you a group wallet note? You can.
To hold my Bitcoin.
We can just drop all loot if one of you wants to be loot master. You can just always drop it into.
Jim, you're doing a great job so far. If you don't mind continuing, if not, I'm happy to do it.
Nah, I got it.
Yeah, you can pretty much just copy and paste it right into the note, so we have it all in one spot.
I kind of assume for some reason that just Dante's got his hands on all of it anyway. Like,
Dante can't carry that much stuff, sadly.
smooth dude. Just snagged
Did
it
the-
all.
Inventory? Where'd you make the note?
Hold on, I'm still making it. Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, okay.
You got a big cloak on in that picture.
We wake up and
Hide it
Dante has
under
the
there.
staff in one hand and a sword in the other, and has wearing the armor. He's like, oh.
I was just accounting for all of the goods.
Like 10 books. Like,
There we go. There should be a loot record sheet at the top of your player characters folder now.
Ah, here we go. Edit. All right, that's what we got. Some of it's already been claimed, so.
Yeah, if you want to like strike out maybe stuff that's claimed, you don't have to. You don't have to. We know, I guess. You don't have to do that much work.
We can.
The gnarled staff was what I was interested in.
Gnarled staff is what you want Cedric to get?
If no one else has a use for it, or people are welcome to roll, or whatever you want to do.
I got no use for it. Anybody else?
no.
All right, Cedric. And then we said that already took the armor.
Mhm.
So we've
I
got
mean,
a
I'm cool with it.
a bejeweled scimitar +1 still, and a bunch of gemstones, and some trinkets and books.
This silver badge in the shape of a 5-pointed star, is it look like a sheriff's badge, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. It's.
I think that Cora would take a special interest in that badge and ask if anyone would mind if she hung on to that one.
It's kind of like the merchant police badge, but you can tell this one is like different, maybe custom made or something. It's not actually the same symbol as the merchant police symbol.
Yeah, it reminds her of her dad.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely like kind of a unique piece. So
It's like a dream catcher too. Good dreams.
all right. Anything else?
Now, does anybody else claim anything right now? There's a healing potion and
No, Zuzu's not taking any of it.
so if nobody's taking the scimitar, I guess Dante will.
I can't use a blade, I don't think so.
I will take the darts. If there were extra darts, I'll take them.
Were there darts in this? I don't remember.
Just
Yep,
other
there were
gear.
Darts UD6.
So if I already have D6 darts, do I have 2D6?
You make a second stack of UD6 darts. You can't really combine them. You just make a new stack. So it takes a new inventory slot every time you pick up a new stack.
Got it.
I don't have anything ranged, Andy. If you wanted, should I have those or?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Happy birthday.
You're welcome to have the darts as well.
I'm just not sure if I should. Like, should I have a ranged thing so I don't have to pick up a rock?
Yeah, go ahead and take the darts. That's fine,
Okay,
mate.
cool.
You can always give them back later if one of you runs out. You can flip swap. Flip swap.
I'm literally never going to hit anyone with them, so,
I might.
you might. Can I do a detect magic ritual on the staff to see what it does? It is magical.
Yeah, read magic.
Yeah, I could do read magic for sure.
That's what detect magic is more for, like finding magic traps, like trying to find magic in ruins, read, see where runes are, find where magic items are. Whereas read magic like tells you everything about a spell or a scroll or a magic item.
So do I just roll intelligence on a read magic, even though it's as a ritual?
Yeah. So when you do rituals, they don't work the same way. You have a chance of failing rituals, and if you fail, they can be pretty bad.
Yes, I blew myself.
So you do roll plus the spell level to see if it works or not. They either reverse, fizzle, or backfire.
What's the spell level? Just 1 is what all this is.
I think, right? Yeah. Check magic. Yeah, read magic's level 1. So
Rolled a nat 20.
it lets you read scrolls, spell books, inscriptions, and runes on magical items.
Yeah, I didn't do it again.
I'll let you leverage your background. I don't know if your background would make much sense. Well,
It's the second one.
you still have the spell. You could try again. I'm just gonna say, I don't know. I'm tempted to say you lose the spell.
From my spell book?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how I could reverse it or how it could backfire in a bad way. I don't think there's a huge way. I don't think you lose it from your spellbook. No, I just think you lose it for the day.
Well, it was a ritual, so it was a ritual. I don't have to prepare it, correct?
Right, but spells that fail in rituals always have a negative consequence. So the negative consequence in this case would be that you blew that spell from your memory on accident. Does that make sense? It would usually they do damage to you. They have a negative effect, like the blue thing.
So I wouldn't be able to cast Read Magic again today?
Yeah, right. I don't know if that's
Okay.
what I was gonna go with. That might be too mean.
Well, it's okay.
I'm just trying to think of a good consequence for the spell failing that would make sense for read magic.
Kill him.
Yeah, your head explodes.
Maybe he reads it, but then he also reads something that's not. He misinterprets one part of it or something.
I think you just accidentally read some sort of painful rune, some sort of attacking word or something. Maybe it does a little damage to you.
Okay.
Some mental damage.
How much would you have me take, my liege?
Let's see. Let's just say 1d2.
2! I'm dead. No, I'm just kidding.
I think you just stun yourself for a second. You have to slam your grimoire shut and close your eyes for a moment to recover. You get a mental spike by, I don't know, you transcribe something wrong. Something backfires in your mind as the spell is starting to come alive. The magic's flowing through you.
Yeah, I think maybe something kind of horrible does happen, and Cedric kind of thinks back to his conversation with Zaretti, where some of you weren't privy to, but we talked about using magic, and Zaretti talked about a little bit his friend Aaron.
Yeah, I think
evil. So he's just
I think you get flashes of fire and evil and doom in your mind. Weird imagery and things. Just for a split second, and yeah, it reminds you of that. That's interesting.
Oh, good heavens. I don't think I did that right.
Now you can go ahead and cast the spell normally if you want, not as a ritual.
I didn't prep it.
Ah. Or you can try again with 10 more minutes before you guys leave.
I'll try it again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking be the first person ever to die from casting Read Magic.
Rituals are dangerous.
Already walks over to your corpse. I told you so! I told you!
Hey!
There you go.
You did it.
What's that staff?
There you go. So your read magic, I believe lasts for, just one turn, so it just lets you do one item. Your staff is, let's look here. It's the wrong button, so I can't. Go. Sorry. Trying to find it. Here we go. Staves. You have found what's called a staff of commanding animals.
What lovely.
Soup?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you could, I think. It grants power. Well, I mean, he's kind of a thing, a person.
Aren't we
Non-human
animals
persons.
at heart?
So grants the power to control animals, humans, and plants. Ooh, it's a staff of commanding. Affects 1d6 normal animals or one giant animal, but not magical or intelligent animals. No saving throws. Anything you can see in range, or like your range is what you can see. It does require your concentration, so you can only do one thing at a time. You can't like just keep casting it on different animals, you know.
That's badass.
Yeah, and then also humans. You can place a charm upon one human within 60 feet. One target may be charmed per round, resisting. However, they get a chance to resist each time.
Fuck yeah.
And,
Something to do when I'm out of spells.
and you can only do up to 6 hit dice of humans this way. So if it's one 6th level human, that's the only human you can keep charmed at a time. But that means you could charm up to 6 level 1 people at once. Or like, you know, in 6 turns.
Sweet.
And basically they just trust you as a friend, and they'll obey your commands as long as they're not obviously harmful. So you can charm one group of animals or one group of humans, essentially. Wow, that's really powerful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Also,
there's another thing I missed. And commanding plants. All plants, including plant monsters in a 10-foot square area. The area may be up to 60 feet distant from you. Affected plants may be commanded to move around as the character wishes. The effects last as long as the wielder, the staff concentrates.
Damn!
Yeah, that's pretty rad.
I think Cedric would tell Dante, as Dante is kind of taking an interest in magic a little bit.
Dante, I think this staff is quite special. Takes a page out of your book.
I'm not sure I know what you mean. It sings songs?
No, not quite, but it charms people. I saw that charm spell you cast. This is a version of that spell, although different.
Put it to good use.
Yes, I certainly hope so.
Sick. That's rad.
Fun.
I feel like the staff is like, kind of gnarled piece of wood. It's got the like bird skull atop, and like the skull is held on, like fused on with like intertwined vines, kind of growing up out of the top, fusing it into the staff.
Yeah, I think Cedric kind of stands up with it, and this is much more. Stands and holds the staff and kind of looks around and does a little flourish with his other hand, and like some arcane energy kind of rolls through his fingers. He's like,
I am a magic user.
That was so good on my end because music was swelling as you said all that.
I love that.
You're a wizard, Harry. All right, great. So you take a little time with the staff, and then you guys head off from the oasis towards the river. And it doesn't take. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, Charlie. I just wanted to see if Julie would heal me.
Oh, yes. You sectum sempred yourself.
From the
So you want me to heal you? For real?
I think it's dangerous. We walk around with just 2 hit points.
Jesus.
Yeah. All right. So I just roll 1d6 plus 1 to heal you.
Yeah,
Cora,
you-
I made a mistake.
you can choose to do it as a ritual, which is gonna just set you guys back even longer. You got plenty of time right now, really, so you might as well. But it does have worse consequences if it backfires. You might take damage. So
Yeah, baby.
Oh no, that's fine. That's totally her style anyway. But what's that mean?
it just means there's no chance you're gonna lose the spell for the day,
Okay, cool.
but there is a chance that it will backfire and hurt you.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
we tried to leave, but in the process, 2 of our people killed themselves trying to cast magic.
Yeah, she just like tries to heal you, and she just says, this, it can be dangerous learning these new things, but I think that it was probably worth it. Sounds like you learned something pretty cool. She says cool, I bet. None.
So make a wisdom to see if you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I
Succeed.
just rolled the cure light.
That's right. Yeah, we'll keep that 5 if you do succeed.
Okay. Oh, and then I roll wisdom to see if I get hurt. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. See, this spell you can reverse, which you can turn cure light wounds into cause wounds.
Yes, all of them have really that. Like all of them have a neat modifier 0.
Mhm.
Okay.
I guess technically 1 because it was a level 1 spell, but you still succeed. Cool. So yeah, no problems at all. You heal him back to full hit points with just a light touch.
You are extraordinary, Cora. Thank you as always.
Cool.
You're welcome.
It doesn't take you guys long after you leave the oasis to get back to the river. It is a bright, shiny, sunny day, and once you get down to... There's not really any more cliffs, like you're kind of now where it's just like flat desert and then this beautiful river, you're in like kind of a floodplain of the desert here. And it's really beautiful and kind of green and covered in little trees and growth. There's also some crocodiles lurking a little ways down, you can see, but... and there are tons of ships and barges passing on the river as you kind of walk up to the edge. And Awa's like, we need to find some sort of dock or possibly an inn. I'm not gonna flag someone down just from the banks. But there's gotta be something if we follow the river. Good business owning an inn along the river.
I think I'm just ignoring him.
He's like, am I just talking to myself? Talking to the fucking desert? Crazy? Okay. He just starts walking along the riverbanks and he's like, watch out for fucking crocodiles.
I was listening. I was just thinking about what I was going to say. Oh, I think we've upset him.
Didn't he say he knew a guy?
Yeah, he knows all sorts of the wrong people. I'm just gonna kind of follow after him.
This will fit right in. Come along.
Does anyone know if there is a inn on the river?
Like I said, I'm sure we'll come across something at some point.
It does sound like a good idea. In on the river. We're living proof.
That's true. Yeah, raises a good point.
You ever think that there might be people living in a caravan down by the river?
A caravan down by the river.
A caravan down by the river?
I don't get this reference. I really don't. What are you guys referencing?
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley's van down by the river skip missing out.
Okay. Sorry, gang.
Keep living your life this way, you'll end up living in a van down by the river!
Motivational speaker Matt Foley.
Yeah.
Listen to me, Rosco. Listen to me. If you don't get it together.
Yes.
I guess we all just trek down river trying to hope to find either flag someone as we're walking or
I don't think
find an inn.
I don't think it's too long until you do see a building along the river as you walk down. It is kind of built into, the cliffs kind of start to rise back up out of the sand, and there's kind of a little canyon, just like a guarded little, rock kind of cut in the cliffs where this inn is built, and it's just kind of a single wooden like square structure, but then out in like kind of the the sand next to it is a massive like yurt with a chimney coming out of it, and there's like logs piled up all around it and a little stable area next to it, and there's docks and a bunch of boats pulled up.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody has anything better than this. That's fine. But I was thinking if we need to find someone who's like a smuggler or someone who would, be a criminal, I would like to, if I could, roll something to find them if it requires a roll, and use my background as growing up in a jailhouse to try and like be able to identify someone who might be able to do that
Okay.
based
Shady
on a
captain.
prisoner.
So out here in the yard, there's only like 2 or 3 people. Seems like
Okay.
mostly workers. I think like maybe one person unloading a boat, like a bunch of sacks and supplies into a big pile, and a few other people milling about. But you can hear people and maybe a little bit of music coming from in the big yurt, and smoke is pouring out of it. It smells like food. And so I think you walk in there, and you realize that it's not so much an inn as it is just like a restaurant or maybe a tavern. But there are a bunch of people in here, and yeah, once you get in here and you see this crowd, you can definitely like try and suss out who looks like they are a criminal.
Well, if I do that, that's fine. I just wanted to throw it out there. If anyone else has something that they wanted, I'm not just gonna walk in without, like, I'll turn to everybody and be like, hey, I think I might be able to maybe, ask somebody in there.
Yeah, you'll be able to do more than me. I'm afraid I don't know that many people down here.
So there's, this thing is just filled with long tables, just different groups of people eating. There's really no like established like counter or anything. There's just barrels in one corner and then a giant pot of something over a fire, and like kind of a wood burning stove with a chimney. There is again like a cabin kind of thing attached to this you could go into as well. But yeah, there's just a bunch of people eating. A lot of them hardened, dock worker types. A few noble merchant-looking types. Part of the Goldborn class, and also a table of like 3 merchant police.
Oh shit.
Hello? Should we wait for a table or can we just sit anywhere?
Like a woman just walks by you with a bowl, and she's like, "I don't fucking know. Sit down." She like goes and joins the table she was heading towards and just starts eating.
I think we can sit anywhere.
Alright, well, act regular like, keep your heads down. We should also see if we can't get some supplies for the journey ahead. Once again, we are out of edible food for the most part. Who here has edible food for the road?
I do, always.
Always, that's good. I'm out.
I do
Me
have
too.
between 1 and 4 rations. I'll need to check.
I have between 1 and 4 as well.
Not a whole lot, it don't sound like. We'll see what we can do to get those restocked.
So, a kind of large, commanding-looking woman in a leather apron comes out of the cabin door that connects into the yurt. Kind of walks down the stairs, and she notices you all standing by the door, and she points and like yells across the crowd in the room. She's like, "Hey, yous! You want your Knoll slave to eat? Send him outside. He can eat out back."
Put them outside.
I'm gonna turn to Soup and kind of with my head nod him out back or whatever. I'm assuming he can somewhat understand people.
Yeah.
Is he supposed to like stay somewhere? Because it's soup.
I mean, I'll tell him I'm gonna buy him some food.
I mean, she straight up says like, "I'll feed him if he comes around back." So she's gonna like
Yeah.
throw him a bucket of some sort of neck bones
Gotcha.
or something.
Yeah, perfect.
But before that happens, you start leading Soup outside, and Awa is like, "Oh, Lyra, like, I'm so sorry. Please forgive my rude friends." And she's like, "Oh, shit. Like, what the hell are you doing back here?" And Awa's just like, "I just thought I'd check in. We're looking for work. I have an able-bodied crew of my own." And she's like, "I'm sure you do. Do you fucking work for him?" She like points to Already.
We don't fucking work for him.
She's like, that's what I fucking thought. And he's like, but well, they're here with me, regardless. We're just looking for someone. And she's like, you're lucky I'm letting you stay. Don't cause no fucking trouble. I'm gonna go feed that scrappy rat you got. And she like turns and heads towards the back door.
You certainly have a way with people, Awa.
He doesn't look thrilled at your comment. He's like, yeah. He's like, well, yes. I mean, I told you I knew someone, didn't I?
Hey, but if you knew we were being rude, why didn't you tell us before we came in here what we were supposed to do?
He's like, she's not mad about the knoll.
She seemed to
Doesn't
enter mad
like
about the
him.
knoll.
No, she's mad about the, the money I owe her. And probably the ghoul powder I stole.
Okay, so you didn't earn that ghoul powder by any means of your own. You took it from other people.
No, the ghoul powder I dumped out. I got from the gulags. They paid me in it. The stuff I stole from here, I, finished immediately.
Fascinating.
Lyra can't afford much.
Alright, shall we go in? I think Soup's certainly excited about his prospects.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of people turn and kind of look at you guys.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting down somewhere. I'm finding something.
Including the merchant police, but once you start sitting down, everybody stops. They just kind of go back to what they were doing. So yeah, Zuzu, you take the first open bench you can find and, start passing mugs out to people.
Yes, do you serve milk? Can I get a glass of milk? She's not responding.
Yeah, I think she's throwing buckets of slop out back. But you did
Bloodied and like.
You did see a goat hutch on the way in. You could go get your own milk.
Oh my. I prefer chilled, but I suppose when in Sean.
I can't stand milk. It gives me the shits.
I'm gonna
My,
get something to
such
eat.
pleasant dinner conversation.
So that's one milk, I know. Zaretti's out. Already.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm okay, thank you.
It's also really annoying when you get milk fresh from the goat and you have to pick the little hairs out of it. Ugh.
Those are prizes.
What? I don't like how you said that.
Alright, so Cedric's like, whatever, I'm gonna go. He's from a commune farming community, so this is not that big of a deal.
I think I will go milk the goat.
Hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna go milk my goat too. That's a little masturbation joke for y'all. Did you like it?
I was like, no! He bops you on the nose.
I'm gonna fucking break your nose if you do that again, Awa.
See, I go milk a goat. Do I need to roll?
Milking check.
No,
Dex?
just use your staff, dude. You don't even have to milk the goat. It will milk itself.
I command the milk out of its udders.
Oh.
Yep.
Cedric is like, look at me in despair.
Cedric sets a bottle under the goat and just points the staff at it. No.
Wait, hold up. So it's okay, I need a better visual on this. Is the goat just pushing milk out of its udders, or is it using its hooves to milk itself?
No, yeah, it just grunts, and milk comes out.
Yeah, that's how it works. I love it.
In the SpongeBob movie, the bad guy that can grow a mustache on command, it's a lot like that.
Okay.
His experiences, it actually does come out quite readily. You don't really have to do anything at all.
Yeah, if they're good to go, yeah.
You just think about a baby, and all of a sudden, you got to change shirts.
Oh no. Oh no.
God damn.
It's true.
All right.
I am Lactalar. I'm Lord of the goat milk.
Lord Chivra.
Hey, that guy's doing something weird to the goat. Kill him!
So you go out, yeah, you like lean your staff up against a fence, you lean down, you milk the goat, you take a nice sip from the pail. You have a little milk mustache, Cedric.
Hello, little fella.
And a few crows, like a crow and a raven, fly in from, out over the river. And they go to like land, they have like a perch or a rookery on top of the cabin for all the crows to land. Because, crows are important, kind of a messenger class. So these two crows swoop in, and one of them, I think, notices you milking the goat. And these two crows like circle back and start cawing, just like caw, caw, like alert cawing and kind of circling you. And one of them starts yelling out like, "Traitor! Murderer!"
What did they say?
Yeah, what did they say?
Traitor, murderer?
Yeah. And they keep, it's, I think your characters have a hard time understanding them in their, like, fury. They seem upset. Just making a racket and circling really close around you, Cedric.
Cedric would grab his staff and he would kind of be like, let's see if this works. Down here, both of you.
Now remember, in this world, crows are intelligent. So your staff will not affect them.
Is he by himself?
And they'll tell you that. One of the crows is like, "Your staff has no effect on us. Cool! Oh!" And they like kind of hop down and land on the fence posts, and one of them is like, "You traitor! Where did you find that instrument of death? Unnatural thing. The staff of Malik. Oh!"
Oh, no. This... I don't know, Malik. I just found it. It's a long story. Whatever beef you have with my staff, it has nothing to do with me.
The crow's just like, "Traitor! Put that thing back where it came from. Also help me. Oh!"
Now, let's not be hasty. And how does me having the staff at all make me a traitor? I haven't betrayed anyone.
You wield the power of Malik. Oh, the evilest bird. Traitor to the Corvids. That skull fixed to your staff is Malik's vile skull. Oh!
Well, I don't know, Malik. I haven't had anything to do with him at all.
Yet you
Sir.
wield his dark magics. You shall be remembered, traitor. Ah! Ah! They like fly away up into the rookery, and all the crows in the rookery are getting all disturbed and cawing and flying out and in.
Oh, don't tell them.
There's kind of a storm of crows out over the canopy or the yurt now where you're at.
From inside to say, I'm gonna go check on Cedric, cause y'all hear that, right? The birds.
Cedric is like walking back into the bar sheepishly at this time.
Yeah,
No, never mind.
a few birds kind of swoop down at you as you pass, but they mostly leave you alone, and you come inside and you're safe. The crows kind of quiet down a bit.
What's
So,
that?
what's for lunch?
Everyone's like
It's
looking at
Ced-
Cedric as he comes in.
They have something called milk steak, and I don't know what that is, but I don't think I want it.
I'll have whatever.
He's like kind of shaken up, but also hoping that he's not really ready to reveal this necessarily.
I mean, you could have just milked the goat the old-fashioned way.
Oh yeah.
If you tell them, they're going to be like, yeah, you shouldn't use magic.
I didn't use magic to milk the goat. I just milked it.
Yeah, he was just milking it. We were just joking.
Oh, okay.
He did
Yeah,
just
that
milk
was-
it normally.
I milked it with my bare hands.
Great. That's what I wanted to hear.
You got milk all over your hands, Cedric.
Yes, I was milking. It's delicious, really. It went well.
Yeah, you keep licking your fingers. It's weird.
I love milk.
So, who do we talk to here about getting further downriver faster?
Yes, and the quicker the better. I don't care for this place.
We can always ask, not, what was her name again? The one that got angry.
Lyra.
Lyra? We could always ask her.
Don't worry, I'm going to ask her. She's the only one who's going to be able to hook us up with someone that can smuggle us. I'm just waiting maybe until nightfall. Once she gets a little more at ease and she's taken her medicine, she'll be more open to, well, our suggestions.
What, more of that ghoul powder?
Well, yes. She has some predilections. A hardworking woman, she deserves the relaxation.
I know that's right. Finally, you're saying something that makes sense.
So the guards, the merchant police, are kind of whispering amongst themselves and looking at you guys as you sit there eating and drinking.
In the future, I think we should leave soup like out front or something before entering an establishment. Or anything, really.
As he is rather conspicuous.
Yeah, conspicuous was the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Very quite welcome.
One of the merchant police stands up from the table slowly. He's just like steady eyeing you guys at this point.
You know, maybe we should try to find Soup's home too. Or a place for him to stay. Because it's kind of dangerous having him with us all the time. But he's such a good boy.
Yes, I worry about Soup, but I also worry about 4 o'clock. I think they're eyeing us. And he kind of just don't look.
So
City guards.
you glance, and the merchant police that stood up, he starts like walking over towards you guys now.
Well, I think we might need some fresh air. Anybody else up for some fresh air?
We should meet this head on. Yeah, can I help you?
He comes and stands at the end of the table, and he looks right in Dante's face, and he's like, "Don't I know you from somewhere?" Yeah, it is you. You played at the Galleon in Arc City, yes?
Yes. I did.
He like turns back to the other guys. He's like, "It is him. He's the one. Can you? Oh, please. Can you play Mother May I and also Lady of Pink Flowers? I just love that. Please."
I don't know if this is the right place for
No,
that.
no.
Oh, I think it absolutely is.
He's like,
I think it is.
everyone would appreciate it, right? And he starts looking around, and a bunch of people are kind of nodding in agreement.
Yes.
He's like, "What was your name again?" Oh, just fantastic singer.
Dante the Dazzling Dracos at your service.
That's right, Dante at the Galleon Inn. Yeah, regale us. And he's like, he turns and goes to sit down with his chums.
I guess I have to do this. And he, gives the hurdy-gurdy a quick crank and checks a tune on it, and then... he starts playing, trying his best to play the songs that were requested.
Will you make them up, please?
What was the title of the first one?
Mother May I and, well, here, hold on. Let me put this in because it's already in my text. Mother May I and Lady of Pink Flowers.
Oh, God.
You don't have to make them up. But I would like to see a charisma check to see how well you perform them. And, of course, at advantage.
Vintage, any modifier to it?
No. Oh my
Versus
God.
14. Oh my God, of course.
You get about halfway through Mother May I, and two of your strings just like bink, bink, like break. And everyone lets out, like, the entire audience lets out an audible, like, disappointed sigh.
Sorry about that, everyone. Sometimes your equipment kind of doesn't want to perform that day.
The police get up and they kind of walk past you, and the guy who originally approached your table is kind of like, not as good as I remember. And then they just leave.
Oh, don't let him get to you, Dante. It was great. You really got put on the spot there, and you did good. I can't sing worth a lick.
As they leave, they really eye Zuzu and Reddy a lot as well.
There was something I wanted to do while that was going on. Did you say Lyra went upstairs?
She was like standing on the stairs. Like I imagine there's like just a set of like 3 or 4 stairs up to a door. I feel like this yurt is like, mostly a circle, but one side of it is like the wall of the cabin, and you can like go up the 3 stairs up to the cabin door and go inside the cabin. So she went up the stairs and let herself back in her cabin.
Yeah, while that is going on, actually, can I go knock on the cabin door?
Sure, why not?
Let me roll a strength check for knocking. I'm just kidding.
The door flies into the room off of its hinges.
Yeah, just a gentle knock.
Okay, yeah, you give a knock. No one, I think, answers, but the door just kind of squeaks open. It doesn't have like a latch or doorknob or anything.
Yeah, sure, I push it open.
Yeah, you push it open, you see that there's like one table with a fireplace in there, and there's like a door to a bedroom in the back. But there's like 2 kind of burly looking dudes drinking at the table, and you actually don't see Lyra in here anywhere. One of the guys is like, "Can I help you?"
Yeah, I was hoping to have a word with Lyra. You know where I might find her?
He's just like, "Lyra," and she like comes out of the back. And she's like, "Oh, you need to buy something?"
Yeah, something like that. You mind if I don't know. I was hoping for something a little bit more private, I suppose.
She's like, "This is a business. We run this business together." I don't know what I'm doing with her accent right now. Whatever you can say in front of all of us.
All right. I heard that you might have access to some certain powders that some might find personal. I was interested in inquiring about those.
She's like, "Oh, I see." She's like, "I don't have any of that right now, but I have other things." And she's like, "Henri," and he like goes back and starts pulling out like kind of a big sack, and he dumps it out on the table. And inside, I think, are a few assorted narcotics, like some willow root and some Nazarite, distilled Nazarite powder.
All right. How much?
She's like, 20 for one.
I'll hand over 20. I'll take one. Nazarite.
She gives it to you.
All right. How long would I know? How long do I think this would last me?
A week or so if you're not like a heavy user, probably. We'll say it's a UD6.
UD6.
So somewhere between 5 and 10 uses.
Another 20. I'll take the willow root too.
She's like, "Don't mix them. You understand? Do not mix these."
I understand. I'm just looking for a little bit more longevity, you understand?
She nods to Henri and he hands you another little satchel.
Much obliged. Can you point me towards your outhouse?
She's like, "Use the barn."
Alright. I'm gonna go to the barn.
All right, yeah. So they give you all kinds of. They give you some uppers and some downers. They give you the Nazarite powders, sometimes called Stone Lotus. I think we've talked about it in other games before. I don't remember. You don't want any part of this shit. It'll make all your bad feelings turn into good feelings. And it's the cheapest drug there is. There's no hangover.
The cheapest drug there is.
Now, out of curiosity, which one's the upper and which one's the downer?
So, Stone Lotus or Nazarite powder is like a magical, made, from a magical stone, Nazarite, or magical crystal. Like, refined and ground up. That is kind of like a speedy, psychedelic-like drug. And then Willow Root is like kind of a heroin-esque type thing. It's like a black, twisted tree root that you gnaw on. It makes your mouth all black, too. Your teeth all black.
I think I'm gonna. Ooh. Oh man. You know what? Yeah, that's work. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so you can like rinse it, but I feel like it lasts for like an hour or so. There's still like a little, around your gum line, like some black residue.
You know what? I think I'm gonna go with the downer right now. I'm gonna gnaw on some willow root.
All right, you pull out this twisted root from the satchel and just start gnawing on it. It's like so bitter. At first, you like kind of gag, and then like your mouth goes numb. And then, like, your nose gets itchy, and then you just get all relaxed.
Yeah, just let that sink in. Before I get up, kind of like, ugh.
Roll your UD6 for the usage. Also, make a con save.
Yeah, that goes down immediately. All right, con save.
Yep.
I'm good.
Nice. All right.
I go over to the milk. I go over to the goat and I milk it and try to wash out some of the willow root.
Brain it right with like a floss, a water pick.
Yeah. Gross.
So you're kind of like gagging and rinsing your mouth out with goat milk, and Rosco like darkens the doorway of the barn, and he's like, "What are you doing?"
Trying some of this milk, and you know what? It still sucks. Except for you, kid. You drink your milk. You need strong bones.
But why were you?
Not strong enough.
Why were you throwing up?
I'm milk intolerant.
So why do you drink the milk?
You know what? Sometimes you try something new and it just doesn't work out. Given enough time, you think, hey, maybe this won't be so bad now. But you try it again and you think, nope, just as bad. Can't do that again.
Okay. He kind of like.
Okay, kid.
He kind of just like turns and walks away, confused. And he just keeps playing with like the goats and chickens out in the yard.
Fuck, that was close.
Man, it's depraved. This shit's fucked up.
It's fucked up. Yeah, once I've kind of recovered, I'm gonna head back to the table. I'll be like, all right, let's get some food in our bellies. All right. Starving.
Anything else anyone wants to do here before nightfall? And Awa is gonna takes a crack at convincing this woman to give you a boat or smuggle you or whatever.
I think I'm all set.
Yeah, we're good.
Do I see already like nodding off?
Probably, yeah. Or at least his eyes are droopy. He's like real upbeat at first, and then yeah, like 20 minutes into his meal, yeah, he's like hanging his head over his bowl.
Okay, I'm gonna get like a splinter of wood and light it after I like stick it in his under his toe. I'm gonna do the little like I'm gonna do the little like burn in your foot trick. You never seen that? I don't know.
Like light a match and stick it between someone's toes.
A hot
Yeah.
foot.
Don't I have boots on right now?
Your hands.
Yeah, I guess you do have boots on.
I don't think he's that fucked up yet. Like, you try to start fucking with him,
Okay.
and then he like kind of like wakes, or snaps to a bit and looks at you.
Okay.
He did pass his con check after all, so.
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna kind of whistle.
All right, fate tonight. You guys kind of hang around in the yurt for quite a while, and night comes, and finally Lyra comes out, and Henri, who you're assuming is her husband, like they kind of chill at a table near the wood burning stove. They eat and drink, and people kind of hang out and come talk to them and leave and blah blah blah. And Awa's like, you know, she looks good and drunk. I'm sure she's had a few different, other things go in her system. Maybe now is the time. How much money do we have to offer her?
I look at him expectantly.
He's like, I don't have any money.
Oh, shocker.
We've got some gemstones that we took out of the crypt.
That might
I
work.
have a few coins.
The gemstones might work. Honestly, I'm not sure if she will listen to me. It might be best that you plead your own case, but I'll try and introduce you again.
Do we?
Oh.
I don't think we need any further introduction from you unless you really want to. But I think you've done your part.
Well,
Good job.
I'm still going over with you. I won't say much.
Okay. Introduce us.
So you walk over to her table. You all get up and go over there, carrying your drinks and plates and so forth. And I was like, "Do you mind if we join, or would it be an imposition?" And she's like, "No, sit down." And so you all kind of file in and sit down at their table. She's just like, "Henri, everybody, Henri," and he just like kind of grunts and nods and keeps eating.
Hello, Henry. Cedric Abadar.
Cordine Finstock, nice to meet you. You know, it's just so nice y'all are eating dinner together. I miss those days.
He's just like, and just like slurps up a bunch of shit from his bowl, scooping it into his mouth with bread, like nodding along.
We were interested in arranging some transportation. We heard that you lot were the people to go for that.
We don't sell boats.
I wasn't thinking about boat selling.
Well, what were you thinking about?
Some discreet, just a discreet spot on a ship heading its way to Ark City. We're good for it.
You're friends with Awa. I should have known that's what you wanted.
We really barely know him, but in this case, it was a suggestion that we be smuggled. So we want to be smuggled for money.
She just nods, and she like kind of leans into a whisper, and she's like, "I think I understand."
A little bit more on the thieves' can't side of conversation, I think, would do.
She's like, "Listen, I know every boat that comes up and down this river. Been running this tavern for 15 years now. I can hook you up with someone. I don't usually smuggle people. But
We're not usually smuggled.
Well, how much do you have to give? It ain't gonna be cheap."
Well,
What's the going rate for a smuggling?
Well,
One smuggling.
seeing as you're larger than our average shipment size, 20 pieces per person.
That seems more than fair to me. I mean,
Wait, hold up. How many people do we have? We've got us five.
us five, the
Six.
two boys, Soup, and then if Awad comes with us, that makes 9.
I wanted to ask if this might be a situation where the boys could be smuggled back to Sarkian. Like if
That's
we're
what I
just
was
smuggling.
kind of thinking.
Yeah, you could if you just want to pay for them. But again, they'll just
I
be
mean,
on a ship with like sailors and people you don't know.
I think what I would do,
Not much different than Awa.
I would take a minute to stop and ask them for once. You know, I'm trying to grow, and say, you know, listen, like turn to him quietly and say, "Now, look, I know I'm not your favorite person right now, but I'm trying, and I want to know if you boys, you think you can take care of yourselves, and I trust you. I want to do what's right. So, would you want to just go home, go back on one of these to Sarkhan, or y'all want to ride up with us to Arc City?
I think Dieter looks a little surprised, and he's like, "You would do that?"
Yeah, I've just been trying to do what's best for you this whole time. I'm sorry, I've maybe been a little bit. I just felt I didn't know that. I just didn't think about it. I'm sorry.
You don't need to be sorry. I'm sorry. It's just I don't know what we're supposed to do next.
Well, honey, let me tell you something. I don't either. I don't think any of us do, and that's just life. So you can make a decision now, because this is the only time you're going to get it.
He kind of like looks at Rosco, who's probably just like curled up asleep next to the fireplace under like a little blanket. And he's like, we have an uncle and a few other people. I may not stay, but I'm sure they won't throw Rosco back into slavery if I can get him there.
Well, if that's what you want, it's, you're in charge of your brother. I'm not in charge of y'all. I never have been. Maybe I forgot that. So we'll see if we can arrange something.
He just like, finally gives in and gives you a big hug.
She tries not to like it. Like, she tries not to, you know what I mean? She hugs him back, but like she just tries, because she doesn't want to grow any more attachment. It's not led her anywhere that she feels good about. But probably the first time in her life she's been mothering to someone and it hasn't been reciprocated.
Yeah. Well, while he hugs you, he's just like, "Thank you, really." And then he.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say then he gets up to leave. So.
Well, you guess you really do have something to learn from everybody that you meet. Thank you, Rosco, and take care, Dieter. I always get you two confused. Sorry.
So he'll leave to go join Dieter. And back to kind of the main conversation still happening, I think. Lyra is like, look, she's like, even if you can pay, there's something else I want.
Go on.
He looks at Awa. He's like, he owes me an apology and more. I should cut his hands off for being a thief.
Well, if you think that's what's best.
No. I don't. But I do think he's better off with you, at least right now, than he was with those Black Candle fools.
So you want us to take him with us?
You don't have to. Just, I need an apology from you, Awa. And I want you to give him a chance. That's all. Awa like looks at her and he's like, listen, I'm sorry. Sometimes I can't control my impulses, especially when it comes to, powders, herbs. She's like, that was not much of an apology. So he's like, kind of gives a more sincere, like, look, like, I'm very sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then he says something that kind of surprises all of you, I think, possibly. And he says, I've just been mixed up in using cool powder since I was very young. It was always around my house. I must have been 9 the first time I tried it. No older than our friend Rosco. And she's just kind of like, I know that about you. She's like, and I forgive you for now. And she's like, so, anyway, the rest of you, there'll be a ship here in the morning. I'll get you on it.
Cedric's face kind of softens when he hears him say that, just like, we're kidding about a chance.
But so here's the thing, Miss Lira. We don't have all the gold that you would, or silver that you would need for getting us up there. but I do have some rare stones, and I know what they're worth. And to the right buyer, I'll tell you what, if you can get us all to Ark City, or wherever anyone wants to go, I guess, I'll give you all 5 of them.
She's like, Henry? And Henry pulls out one of those little jeweler eyepieces, like, out of nowhere. Just, like, sticks it in his eye. He does not stop eating, like, sucking on the soup in a bowl in one hand, and then he's, like, looking at the stones in the other hand between slurps.
Some soup gets on the stone.
Yeah,
Wipes off.
he's just, like, yeah, wiping it off, right, exactly. And he's like, Then he just hands him back to her, and he's like, good. And she's like, that'll do.
Sounds like a deal.
Now get the fuck out of my yurt. She's like, you can pitch tents out back around by the barn. You'll see where.
Thank you for hosting us. This was a good meeting.
All right, with that, you've secured your ride and
Yay!
gotten rid of your kids.
Yay!
So before
they, oh, go ahead.
No, you go first.
I was gonna say, before everyone, like, the kids leave, do we get like a heart-to-heart with them?
Yeah, we'll see what happens the next morning before you guys go.
Yeah, they aren't leaving tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. But the one thing I was gonna say is, I do want to kind of cut to the next morning before we end real quick. I think the next morning you all wake up to like an animalistic, like, growling, like a kind of gruff, scruffing growling, like maybe a dog fighting with another dog, and then yipping. And I think you realize it's Soup. It sounds like he's in distress or like fighting someone outside the tents. Like, this is what wakes all of you up.
You'll hear. I'm gonna rush out.
Yeah. Also, we don't have to. I was really hoping to teach Dieter something before the night went over, but it's cool. Let's keep going.
Well, I mean, you could do it this morning. Like, I don't think you guys are necessarily leaving like first thing. That could be your heartfelt goodbye, possibly. We can always kind of reverse to the night before next session, but I just wanted to play this scene for you that I had in mind.
Sure.
So you rush out of the tent, and you see that Soup is like rolling around on the ground, belly up, and I think Lyra is just like scratching his belly and being like, "That's a good boy. That's a good dog." This like giant burly woman, has Soup reduced to like a puppy currently.
You want him, you can keep him.
Oh, don't
Not
say
a
that.
bad idea.
No, yeah.
She's like, I already had him get all the eggs out of the chicken coop. I only had to pay him 6.
Hey, he's a hard worker. Got a lot of personality. Loves billy rubs. His name's Soup.
She kind of looks at him, sizing him up, and she's like, Soup, huh? I do like soup. Maybe one of my favorite foods. You don't want him?
He's a lot to handle, but obviously, I mean, it's clear you can handle him just fine.
I think Cedric would kind of look at Zuzu.
He's yours, really, Zuzu. You took to him, and you saved him.
I'm gonna walk over to Soup and say, if you want to stay here, just it's up to you.
He kind of stops his rolling around on the on his back in the grass and like rolls upright and kind of looks at you and just goes, Soup.
You want to come with us, Soup, or you want to stay here, bud?
Soup kind of looks at his rifle longingly. It's like leaned up against the cabin nearby. And then he like glances back at the chicken coop. And he's like,
Get a lot of bones every day. She makes a lot of soup.
He He just goes, soup. And I think you know it means he wants to stay.
Aw, it's a real Airbud moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll kind of like scratch him on his head real quick, and you're a good one, Soup. You're a good one.
Yeah, so as you guys turn to like leave and walk away, Soup will go, goodbye.
You son of a bitch,
and he-
and I'll just keep going.
And he just like waves with a big dumb paw as you guys head to the docks.
Cedric waves.
He wasn't so bad.
Dante waves back and then plays a few notes for him.
Yeah, he loves it. Awesome. And I think that's where we'll end. Good ending point.
Aww,
Aw.
we're shedding our NPC baggage. Good job, team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now.
But it was good. It was in a meaningful way.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
good.
perfect. I love that.
I feel like Soup is gonna turn back up.
Maybe.
Hopefully, I love Soup. Soup's my boy.
Yeah, Soup's the shit.
Everybody loves soup.
I'm glad to retire him. I feel like NPCs a lot of times in our parties get retired by like dying or being suddenly kidnapped or like killed. It's kind of nice to like have a nice story ending to retiring your huge party of NPCs. It's also nice. This is kind of like the end of an arc, your first arc, really. It's like your escape arc is kind of over. Now it's your fugitive arc is beginning.
Yeah, exactly. We all kept our heads at the very beginning. Like,
Oh dang!
I don't know.
Should we do an arc summary next time, or should we go one more little one before we do it?
I don't know. It does kind of feel that felt like I wouldn't have brought up arc ending until that last scene and the kids getting shipped off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you also got out of the dungeon and kind of navigated your way out of all that, and you've wrapped up all your major conflicts right now. Now you guys can just kind of choose where to go. Even though there are other looming conflicts, but yeah, we could do end of arc. I don't want to give out a lot of extra XP right now because I don't want to level too fast. But we did just kind of change the goalpost for the leveling. I think it's actually probably fine. We did an end of arc. We don't have to do it this session. We can do it at the beginning of the next one. So what we do every time we end a story arc, those of you that don't know, we do like an extra long kind of chat about the arc at the beginning when we do our goals, or at the end of the session when we do the XP awards. We do like an extra long chat where we kind of chat about everything that happened in the session so far, and we give out 2 awards. The MVP, that's the person who's the most valuable player. They made the most crucial contribution to the party completing their mission to this point. They made the most clutch move this arc, whatever, and they get an extra 2 XP. We should probably just do it now. I don't think it'll take too long. And then the other one is the embodiment, and this can go to multiple people, but not everyone. Usually we give 2, sometimes 3 embodiment awards out. And embodiment awards are for people who roleplayed really well, played on your character's traits and beliefs in like really strong ways, just deep roleplay, things like that. And then the other thing we do, this is the part we'll probably do next time, is we usually give everyone a trait. We do what's called a trait vote. I'll post a big list of them. Traits are just like one-word descriptions, of like character traits, kind of like in D&D 5e. It's a big long list, but the way it works is everyone votes a trait onto your character based on how we all saw your roleplay throughout the session. So everyone kind of picks 1 or 2 between sessions that they think applies to each person, and then we throw them all out at the beginning and everybody votes, and then your character gets one of these traits voted onto them, and that trait becomes like a background that you can kind of say, I'm playing on my trait to give myself advantage, if it makes sense.
Sick.
Cool.
Neat.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Hella.
So real quick, did anybody accomplish their goals? Let's do the end of session council.
I'll be fine, mine.
I at least got one.
I think so too.
Ready? What'd you get?
I changed it from Arc City to the end because I did indulge in my vices.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Take an XP for that.
And I think that's the only goal I've made.
You might get that Dieter one next time, though.
I hope so.
Before you guys leave. I'll confront Already the next time he bashes magic use. I definitely got that one. That was a really awesome, kind of deep roleplay moment for sure. So take an XP.
Oh.
I'll repay Cora's kindness in healing me, keeping an eye on the boys and her. I don't know. Did you get that one yet?
I mean, they were running off, and we made them come back.
Yeah, he saved him.
That's true. That's right. Yeah. It was you that kind of, your charm spell in particular. Yeah, really did save the day. Okay, take an XP there too. Great job. I'll learn more about the Black Candle from Awa, so not yet.
Cool.
Cedric, I'll de-escalate a conflict.
I feel like I did that with Already and Zuzu a little bit, and also Zuzu and Awa.
For sure, me and Awa.
What happened with it? When did you, sorry, remind me?
I was gonna make Awa leave, or I was gonna kill him.
Oh, that's right. That's right, and Cedric convinced you to let him stay.
Yeah.
And then that's what me and Already talked about.
Yeah. So take an XP for 1 and 2.
And then also, obviously, I made a new friend. I think we all know with the goat.
Oh, yeah, that's right. If anything, you made a bunch of bird enemies.
Enemies. Just
Right.
Which I have not shared.
That's true. That could be an interesting goal, to hide that. Hide that information at all costs. Let's see. I'll find common ground with one or more of my fellow boners. Yeah, I feel like Dante saving the kids and like you guys kind of having that moment was pretty good.
And same with Zuzu about him and his, like
Him
when
actually
I
having a good conversation and like helping.
yeah, after he talked to the kid and then
Yeah.
me being like, hey,
Actually, I really like that. That might be my favorite part of the session when you were talking about like, you had never really considered that he had a background and the kids had a background because like these kids are honestly, Dieter is pretty much a fucking hardened criminal already. So like,
yeah, well, she's never taken the time to ask him, like,
yeah,
hey,
I know.
what are you like?
I know. So I like that she had that realization. That was really good. So definitely take an XP there. I'll facilitate the departure of Rosco and Dieter. They're leaving next time, but I'll go ahead and give you that XP now. I think you've already
Yay.
done the facilitation part is finished.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job. And talk to Dante about Miro and the merchant police. So not yet, but that could be good for next time for sure.
Can I have a question about a goal real fast?
Yeah.
Can a goal be like about like can I say like I will use my background as a person to gain advantage on a roll, or is that too meta?
No, yeah, it needs to be from your character's point of view.
Okay.
Something your character wants to do, as if they were writing in their journal. After think of your next goal should be your character writing in their journal after this session about what they want to do now based on what just happened. Like that's a
Okay, cool.
good way to think.
Well, that's a personal goal of mine.
Taking others' life is commonplace. It can be justified at times. Stealing others' life to make it subservient to your own can never be. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that that Dieter brought up the slavery thing to you after you were the one that like kind of made him okay with traveling with you guys.
Mhm.
But I don't know if it was XP where they didn't. I don't know. It was really good roleplay, but it didn't necessarily alter the story too much or like your situation per se.
Yeah, I also kind of rejected Awa's like blood debt,
That's true. That is true.
and I also let my little dog go. I
That
don't
is
know,
true.
it-
You know what? I am gonna give you one, yeah, because for both of those things, like
Yeah, it's
that-
just little things, but it's like
Well,
subservient
I
to
think-
your own is key there. It's
Yeah.
like,
I think it's interesting because it's two sides of the same coin. Like you dropped your blood debt with Awa, not because you felt it was repaid, but more because you felt like you realized you fucking hated him
Yeah.
after you saved him. So there's like one of them is coming from like a place of vengeance and kind of hatred, and then the other with like giving Soup the choice to stay is like out of love and like care. So an interesting dichotomy to this, like seeing both sides of the same belief in a single session is really cool like that. So yeah,
Cool.
definitely take an XP. Good job there.
and I'm working on my goals. I'm working on them.
Yeah, everybody's doing a
I
good job.
almost got it ready.
Goals happen a little
You would have
slower.
failed that.
Yeah, I know. If he would have failed that drug check, it would have been a perfect time.
Yeah, that totally would have worked. Removed my shoe and then do it, then put the shoe
Yeah,
back on.
exactly. I could have pulled off your shoe. You're totally nodded off. Just
Yeah.
like,
All right, let's do a really. Does everybody have time to do 10 more minutes to talk about the end of the arc?
Yeah, I'm good for it.
Sure.
All right, so the end of each story arc, the players meet for 10 to 30 minutes, discuss. I don't think it's going to take 30 because we only played 5 sessions. Discuss the events of the arc and hand out the following awards. So, yeah, think back to session 1 real quick. Everybody just take a moment, put yourself back in that first session. You meet Soup, all this stuff happens. Think of everything that's happened from then till now, all the stuff you guys have been through. That's what we're concerned with right now. In that light, type into chat your vote for one MVP player / player character. We'll do the embodiment next. And keep in mind, MVP is crucial contributions to the party to complete the mission. Clutch moves. Someone, saved everyone, changed the story considerably for the better. Man, it's hard for me to think. And, try and be able to cite your examples.
I mean, that boat move really stands out to me as being like tangibly and immediately impactful, and that was the reason why we got out for the most part unscathed from that first conflict.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Cedric has had a few other moments. Cedric's positivity, first of all, when everyone has been constantly at each other's throats, is kind of like the only thing keeping you guys going at some points. Like in the dungeon, I feel like.
Yeah, overwhelming positivity pays off.
Like the
if anything,
that's
more powerful than any magic the world can offer.
Yeah.
Am I right, fellas?
It turns out friendship was the real MVP all along.
Yes.
I'm changing mine to friendship.
So, I vote Zuzu because without him, there'd be a lot less conflict to keep driving us in these weird paths that we're taking. Like,
agreed. I feel like that might fall more under embodiment, though, in this case.
Oh, very much so. But I feel like when it talks about like crucial contribution, it's almost like I feel like he's contributed so much.
True. He's driven what's happened so far a ton.
Exactly.
But has he saved everyone's ass? That's kind of I feel like.
No, he's caused most of the conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the pan over the fire.
And
He's the fire.
I don't want you to say either that just because he's causing conflict doesn't mean he couldn't be the MVP. Like both things are possible, I think. But this is more about who was clutch to helping everyone get out of sticky situations. Think about in the dungeon and in the battle against the displacer beast, etc., etc.
Well, that's why I said Dante too, because I never would have thought of those breaking those jugs to kill that skeleton.
That was very
person.
clutch. Oh, that was super clutch. MVP territory. Also,
very true.
He did the extra deciphering with his bard skill, which summoned the elevator, because I was totally gonna make you guys figure out a way to either climb out of there or a different exit until he deciphered the music on the wall and summoned the elevator. So
yeah, I pointed that out. That was invaluable.
I voted Dante because of the roleplay too, in terms of calling back other people's, asking them to expand on their character, which is huge. Having those openings to kind of get into your backstory.
Yeah, that's true. Cedric Dante's had some good asides with almost everyone at this point. Has an interesting dynamic with Cora forming. He's kind of stood up to Areti a bit with his magic phobia stuff. Very true.
And he's had some cool moments with Cedric too, about like Cedric's backstory and stuff. They had some really neat.
Yeah, yeah. That I loved all the backstory stuff you guys did.
Yeah, I thought that was embodiment though.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
I'm just saying in general. Tonight was such a great role playing session, and I was really impressed. Like everybody like went hard for the story and the drama, and it was like just so fulfilling. It was so good story wise, and especially like you guys just. Man, as a GM, it's always just rewarding to not have to say anything.
When you said you had a headache, I was gonna be like, it's fine. Like we have a lot to work out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I honestly, I feel great now, but it was nice. Just like all that backstory reveal and talk was super interesting. I'm pretty sure you made up Aaron the Arcanist on the fly, right?
On the fucking fly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do Uzo. I was trying to make that like, hey, even though like my issue with magic is that I've seen it fucking fuck people up because their ambitions outpace their better senses.
No, I loved it.
Oh, I thought it was great.
I
love
loved
that too.
I loved that you just like kind of pulled the name out of thin air, but made a really good story. The other thing about it is I know your character's backstory, and I know that that's an elaboration on your backstory. Like that tie, it's not your backstory exactly, but it's like another facet of it, which is really interesting. So, like as far as you watching an Arcanist slaughter some people.
It's never about like the people themselves. It's about what this does to those people.
Yeah. Man, so I think I'm the tiebreaker, and I'm really torn between Cedric and Dante.
I'll vote already for this one, just to throw a wrench in it.
Well, honestly, I was gonna say I think in some respects Cora, as far as just like healing and also being kind of like as far as like tending the NPCs, that's been a huge part of the quest so far. Like no one else was up to like taking care of these kids, but you were stuck with them. So
Very true.
But oh man, I'm really torn. I think I might say Cedric because of the boat. And again, just like to me, the whole dungeon. Dante had a couple great moments in the dungeon too, but the whole dungeon, I feel like Cedric took a lot of command with like keeping everyone moving forward, using the ladybugs. Yeah.
He also managed to be
Thank
effective
you.
while rolling terribly.
Yeah, that too. Everyone did a great job. Like literally, I think anyone could have been considered for the award, but
I think this is a dream team. You guys are the real MVP.
Like I said, Charlie brought out the Rangers.
Yeah, give yourselves a hand, everyone. Yes.
No,
We should all get an XP.
great job, Cedric. You get a closer parking spot for the next arc. So,
Yes.
Huzzah!
no, actually, you get 2 XP. What are you at XP now? Wise,
That's 11.
you level up again?
Yeah,
That would put him at
think I
level
level up at
3.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy leveled up at 9.
Nice. So you were level 2 at the beginning of the session, though, right?
Yeah, I'm level 3.
Sweet, that's a big jump. Good job.
It's about to get crazy.
Yeah. Next, embodiment. Everybody can give out. I know we have 5 people. Maybe we should give out 3. I hate embodiment. I don't like leaving out a lot of people or like leaving out just a few people. So let's just do 2. Everybody can do 2.
It's also incredibly hard for this group because, like, I fucking.
Yeah, I said,
How
this
can I
is a-
choose?
Yeah, it's very difficult.
So again, yeah, this is all about who did great role play, who introduced great conflicts, etc. Who convincingly was their character, embodied their character.
Oh, you should everybody pick 2.
Everybody can give 2 embodiment awards, yeah. That doesn't mean the person will necessarily get one, but you get 2 votes.
So hard.
It is so fucking hard. I feel like I'm gonna go Zuzu and Cora too. Man, it's hard. Like Dante and Aretti, I've also had some just some really awesome moments.
Nah, this wasn't my arc. I'll get it next time.
It wasn't. You're right, and that's how it goes, as you know. But I will say, I've been playing with you for a long time, and this is a bit of a different character for you. I feel like.
I
really is.
it's specifically designed already to be literally the opposite of Naswald in almost every respect.
I love it. I think you're doing a great job with him, and I kind of
I thank you.
I like this stern, and it's a nice change from you too. Anyway, on that note though, Cora has with the kids just driven so much drama already in such a good way, and I feel like Cora as a character and you as a player has like kind of already been through the ringer once, like Julia emotionally, which I usually wait to do to people till later. So, and you've just responded so well in roleplay every time. Cora's just like already such a fully formed, I think, person. So, for sure. And everybody agrees that Zuzu's been a star as far as I think the interparty drama. I love Zuzu as like a kind of brooding there's so much no one knows about Zuzu yet. And he's got kind of a dark side / past, I feel. But he's also like trying to work it out and be part of the group. I don't know. It's great.
Yeah, well deserved.
I love playing. Everybody's so good, and I'm like, oh yeah, there probably is more. It's so funny how I feel like we don't have time to just sit and be like, so what's your deal? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, those are my favorite sessions, though. Like,
Yeah.
like sessions with like really good combat are exciting and engaging. But I live for the sessions where we're able to dig deep into the characters themselves.
I think it's safe to
Well,
say that this is definitely that kind of party where we're all
yeah,
like,
Yeah.
things keep
I'm
happening so fast.
I'm loving it because we're doing, not telling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're showing our stories through our actions and stuff. It's really interesting. It's like these very natural like plot drops and info drops, that are just awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I really love the belief system for that because I really truly feel as a GM, it lets you guys really drive the story, but also make it an interesting interweaving story. And I just have a little ammo that I built up at the beginning that I can just kind of pepper in to suit, and drive your beliefs and goals harder. And that's all I have to do to make it like good and make the story keep moving forward. And I love that. And I just think the story is so good. But the other thing is like the action, the times when you do have good battles, they get so much better when there is like this deep story stuff to support it and to give it a reason and to make it natural, kind of like you said, like with info drops too, when characters are just dumping lore on you, NPCs and stuff. It's so much better when it's like got a real story reason to be happening, and it's all just a lot more natural.
yeah, the reveal's actually like a dun 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 moment instead of just like, oh, this is more info for whatever reason.
For sure. I think just everyone's done such a spectacular job. You guys are just like doing so well with the beliefs and goals. It's really fun. So on that note, I feel like now I love these arc chats because we really start talking about how we're playing the game, and oh man, it's just so good. And I really start thinking back on the whole arc. And now that we all have that in our mind, think about for next week a trait that you would vote onto each character. I'll post the list in Discord. I have like a text list.
Yeah.
It's just like 200 descriptive words essentially. And
Also, you can make your own
Yes.
if you find that that list does not have something.
it's fun. It's kind of a language game almost. You start looking up synonyms and shit, and thesaurusing things. So
Yeah, it's all about syntax.
it's all about finding like a word that you feel really accurately encapsulates how the character acted through the last arc.
And we just do others.
Others, yeah. You can do them for your own character too, if you want. But usually we do like, 2 to 3, 2 to 4. If you can come up with that many, you can just do one if you have one. And then we all kind of drop them in chat and then we all vote and narrow it down to like a single one.
Well, great job, Charlie. Great job, everybody.
Thanks. Yeah, you too, everybody. Good job.
Loving it.
Excellent.
Well,
Makes
Yeah,
Monday
it's super
so
fun.
much nicer.
yeah.